Bambi Misha, Anima Misha, Anima
Nala Vishida, Imato Yote. Shout out to you, Numo Yakubu, Numo Boy Ojoba, Magi, lobby, Missy Boy. Cafe Minaga, Magi, Cafe Minaga. Shout out to you, my Mary. Ofane Boy Ojoba.
Girl, she be coco. No, I ain't a boy, she boko. Girl, she be coco. No, I ain't a boy, she boko. No, I'm shy. You might pay me shy away. Oh, me like I some mommy. 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 If I
That's right, Johnny Famo. Maggie take over class. Johnny Famo. The Gontian young way.
It's a story of my life. Me and the one try better life. They no fit deny me. All my people they criticize me. I'm not fit to fail. If I also to make a living. So you put that on the light. I saw my ding. If I call you, Baba make the answer. Every day me I no go fit to suffer. I tire. Everybody can find me, CJ Kande. Bye. It's a little Baba. Sumi can
make you sure. Yes, continue. Kenya no kunyebwa tu.
Oh na. It's a little Baba Sumi Kande. Baba God, where you there? I know so you gon' understand. So you put that on the light.
I talk and pato yote.
Like fire. I dey do everything for the money, but I do tire.
Abba.
Like a job memo. Let me up, Lord.
Shout out to you, big bro. Big bro ever trashy. Minu pa mini yano. O find boy ojoba. Jobu we manche. That's right.
Yeah. Kande. Isele baba. Papa Sumi Kande. Only my back.
Abba. Thank you. Maggie, no fair no fake clear ona.
Everybody can join me singing Kande. Oh baba. Yeah, Kande. Bye. Papa Sumi Kande. Everybody can take it,
Roma de no Johnny Famo, Kiamoko no Kiamoko, Gontia Yangwe.
So we can
No Johnny Famo. Shout out to you, my Emily. My Emily Toyota.
Is me again now.
Maoti, Ofane Yata Veron, ye, Maoti.
The way I did see you, I think say I feel believe you. Now I became a believer. You say now me you go marry. That's why me I just dey carry. All of your load is not easy. Always today on the phone call. I say who be that but you know talk. With the password, now I just got you with coffee, kissing and hugging at the lobby. Veronica, how you going?
Shout outs to you, Pokwase Jama Manche, Niamuja Nijete, Impato Yote.
Come talk to me, oh, yeah. Today you go answer to me, oh.
The one Johnny Famo no, Walking Hamuku, Wabapote me no.
You got your person. Yeah. Tomato, banana, sweetie, darling. I used to call you these and more, but now you can show me something but you never showed before.
Appa, don't let go. See what you've done to me. See what you've done to me, Vero.
See what you've done to me. See what you've done to me.
Today you go answer to me, oh. Aji, my brain was stories.
To me, oh, yeah. Today you go answer to me, oh. My brain was stories. Contact to me, oh. More chance. You just worry my life. I'm gonna give you one more chance. I'm gonna give you one more chance. You just worry my life. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Tell me what happened to you. Today you gonna start to me, oh. My friend, it was stories. Come talk to me, oh. Yeah. Today you gonna start to me, oh. My friend, it was stories. Come talk to me, oh. You got your person. You got your person.
Find a Johnny Famo. I think there was a little break in the transmission. Maggie, if I get back home, but I think we are back on now. So find a Johnny Famo. Kiamoko no Kiamoko.
Oh, nah, yeah. Got the way I've been thinking of you, I swear no they lie. Cause the way you they blow my mind, I no go fi survive. You are my one and only girl, nobody else but you. If I won't sabe to me corner in the asa. Hey, oh die away, chun chun brondi. Samba me dying.
You like your show, my old thing, Kenya, you like your show, you like your show.
Chun brondi. Samba me dying. Samba me dying. Samba, oh darling, samba me dying. I would do anything for you. Be like say You my only baby. If I was summer to me, corner India star. You my only baby. If I was summer to me, corner India star. The way you did do your body now, you baby now. You turn me on, you turn me on. The way you did do your body now, they go crazy now. Oh na na, you turn me on, you turn me on. Oh die away, chum chum brony, samba me dying. Oh die away.
Shout out to Man Venus. The whistle is in the building. Producer number one. Appa. Mene what busy.
You turn me on, you turn me on.
Find a Johnny Famo, Kiamukono, Kiamuko, me Babu fight. Bomber de no Johnny Famo. In Janta. Kenyan and him in town for no Muni Shay. No name Kawak or Jam, you mean Jack. You mean Kame, I got a Baba Chashi. Yeah. Abba. Right, Chameganyame, ye fe ye wala don ake. Mene sound there a little bit. If no koko yen to me. So bada min dan ye fe shi ake bekene. What's our back be ko wabak basani. Mene jegidi. You understand what I'm saying? Wabaya bleu. In your documents ko ni min ta oni makanimabo. Okay, one or two come look. I think we're collectively, if we want to really tackle this issue, there is a lot of research to be done. I was thinking of what to do today. I really did not have anything specific in mind. I could just show anything ni a touch on the topic name. So it was very, very late in the evening. And I think I can shile no need now. So I spent a lot of time with him on the platform today. Ne touch be a few, you know what? Since in Benoko specific, like I've not decided on non-important. I mean, what you I always have something to talk about, but let me just dive into this story a little bit, because look, nibi pi yani isani wafe wana tree koni wabotemi ojugba keka agbene wana boni isani wafe komeni wayale ake Ga-Dangme. So this is just the surface. There are a lot of things ni masumoni nke chombo time permit bona. So one or two for both sides of the debate. You understand what I'm saying? Koni wakwake some other time wababotemi walo. You understand what I'm saying? We'll actually get into this deeply, if possible. Wabakwake wabana a resource person ni ebawawo more low than just just on the surface. You understand what I'm saying? Shout outs to you, Alaji Bawa. Ufani boy ojuba wanaboeche. Bona. So just on the surface. Waba belena bibioko. Ba olenoko. It's a sad situation that we've even got to the point where you have various traditional councils. Ni amenfe press conferences. Ni wonu ni bi pi ejemi ba. Shout out to Shatadrick. Wasanie na wani wasanie yemobo. Temabi efiame, and I can understand why I need Temabi efiame, because if you know the story behind Temabi press conference or blame me, except the whistle called down it would have wished shukwe they would tackle that particular issue ni I'm a press conference because I may handle that particular issue head on a war neani all of these other press conferences any now I don't know no ni one need chat off an animal mabash if you no ni one need to be a fair press conference nakan ni no ete other town say ke ete other town say ni no ewo I'm a fair press conferences there because teshife no one way fe now and you no need to be a domono na make a fe I'm a press conference and nakan no ete no you understand what I'm saying now the allegation I don't have the facts. Shout outs to you, Akuche Eba. Akuche, back in show about inspire. Mene imbobotwe kata if I can mishibo no cause no ni ko be show na. Otane no ko na if you ni won mintani mene what shushu no for you. Nyele boni wo feel like ene ka ba treat lo jugba. It would have to be a Saturday show. Waje what treat like beke bona because ni be a fast so mene just oba chumo yin keke. Bona but nin kwa Akuche show any tabia if you know one so once again no now in question mark thumbnail no king of machine osu la teshin nwa and tema in question mark so mean be Sunday but I'm saying when you met tema be any fair press conference a couple of weeks ago there was a specific reason it would not me feel like a press conference ni I think I'm a case the ultimate justice ni is an issue I'm a case because I'm only one a reason you will ni I'm a feel like a press conference but a lot of us we know you understand I know some of you need to call me and you understand I think can you tell me any wale to moboni what tia me come what comfort ni what tra what sources ni or tema ni what be me Sunday now me chon no ni woni at a press conference in a bar cheme hani nakano jeponkwe ekole ba wa fio because nakano ejekwe me pi ni le ame check a debate and rightly so maybe this is the time ni isani will have naked debates now amongst ourselves as Ga-Dangme be you understand what I'm saying look I think we as a people there is a rebirth going on what community as Ga-Dangme be here I think we are going through a rebirthing process. Ni nyeliake form it's difficult, it's painful. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes no ni we be we are going through a rebirth process no jino ni nke han tree because minka bo fe wonu shishi. That is why our platforms are no ni wo bolo but birthing it's a very painful thing. It's a very difficult encounter. You understand what I'm saying? Birthing, it's not easy. It's extremely, excruciatingly painful. You understand what I'm saying? So I think no mean what chon be ane and what many what connect no connect about fear. What can anyone jamming jewi? You understand what I'm saying? We should keep fighting, keep pushing, and keep talking. And like I said, maybe this conversation is part of the rebirthing process. Ni one chomi as a people. You understand what I'm saying? We need to fix this mess now. Bonia fe kaji Ga-Dangme here afole nekeno kone will be a thing of the past. You understand what I'm saying? Ni be akabano neke no mone no. Shout out to you, Mayama. Mayama, if I need the show message no she what you onu. So like I said, we have to go through this rebirthing process. Means we no onale now. In as much as ni inu oshishi nakai, if you me nakpe, ake when other communities are doing their very best to put themselves together, Koni, I'm a common goal and purpose. I may achieve it. Here we are, just doing this to ourselves. there is one particular theme. Ni Irano. Uncle Ike, ofane, bo uni ne short share no eh. Well, Uncle Ike, busy ni yo mi ona. Ye no go be bio eh. Mi gbego me komi o ba gen nuchu mu ete. Ofane keke mi onu. What about you? Like I said, there is one refrain. Ni lala fe ni Ga-Dangme formo bi la. Na can refrain e chomi. And that is ekome fimo. But when it comes to actually doing ni bi ni wabanyo mafe, mavi go fa ne to yo ten. Bonu na bile onwe bi ke e bano ni wabafe. Ni na can refrain any dane wala. We will get to a point. Ni waba make no into a reality here. Eke one fe ni bi mon ni ekenaka no ba mi. You understand what I'm saying? One fe ni bi mon ni ekenaka no ba mi. Min kabo fe one yega olo Ga-Dangme olo, because na can refrain ni wala bia ne that portion ni what you all. A while back we didn't just sing it, but we actually actionized it. We put it into action. Ne wani bia ne min kabo fe wa lile ne achole gan Ga-Dangme ela jekuwe. The tongue guan, it's actually non-existent. It's a combination of different dialects. As a tongue, it's a combination. But como blema lala jinya kome na la tuwe ni okwe boni ayuo ekole obutu yuemo yemi ni obo wanyeme obutu bi ane tuwe ni okwe chake mo ni okwe like play lala jinya blema no jinkome como the way ni yuemo yo no kwe. So Guan in itself boni alele chuchukwe elaji. You understand what I'm saying? Because once again, it is not one sect. It's a broad range of people, and I can understand that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Minkabo, why you tree? Minkabo, why you shout outs to you? Nowadays, Odenku Niji Kenkle, in my funny boy or Juba. Why you tree? Ni why you lile short teko? She were you Ga-Dangme, because na kan lala ni je kome fe mo ni wo fe wo bolo da ne na kan bia mi wo cheme amela keke shameke wo fe mo mi. Shout out to man Rosina. Ameke wo fe mo mi bia ne wo wo la keke ni wo ke wo fe mo mi ni da ne ke wo te hie won sumo ni wo gbla ni bia mi ni mene anake leji mene anake leji mene. I guarantee you ole noko keji bia ne ni aba attack wonkwe square few mi aka ba jiwo. This period all the battles that we fought in the past, if they were to happen in this current dispensation, I seriously believe aka ba jiwo. Abayiwo, seriously. Abayiwo. No kokla be, shout out to my Evelyn. No kokla be ni e chomi bi ane ake. All the battles that we fought ni wa wini ni wa luzu ke bia ne anona kenta wa ba wini eko chata ona wa chwa no bia bash. I don't think so. I think aga ba jiwo ni aba klo no fe no wa ba chomo nyoji. Thank God and the ancestors ake chemeka nyeme ni ame ye chuchuko ni ame no neketa ame tumo wo. Shout out to Nila Ateno Kweji. I'm a tomorrow. Hey. I'm a tomorrow. Ejake, a few me na pe ake. You know what? Look, blame spi any wabanyo wa throw le around. I'm praying ake script ending ma ichake. Because it's going many minta wa kande ni feel but any near maybe about checking can get me back. We'll probably just I think maybe we should do that. We should actually have a conversation instead of the literally or the scholarship work. Because no, we're really going to need a lot of time. You understand? So maybe we should just have a conversation. Like I said, a feminine for some reason we can't seem to get it together. You know, and like I said, look, wabanye blame wabanye wake ya happy. Wake blames by ya AP. Every single person, every single leader from Mashi to Tomang, all the way to Adang, I'm a fair one pass blame around there. I'm a fair wake hand. And not just them, but what mambia won't blame me what equal. You understand what I'm saying? Because only you know what we've been doing. No, I mean like won't blame me what equal. When our leaders start making divisive conversations, right? What bibi eka what bamiye when what picture comes. You understand? Instead of we are tired of this divisive nature. We want to come together as one people with one common goal, with one purpose. She won't what picture comes. Your respective corners. You understand? So you will rarely find somebody from Nungwa saying, okay, in time past, the king of Accra, they mashi mancheni. But the king of Accra, a extender to all these other towns. You rarely find somebody from Gamashi, we're both sides, so both way. You rarely find somebody from Gamashi near Bakake. Yes. In time past, we're not gonna actually the king of Accra. But all these towns say, I'm independently. You understand what I'm saying? So, energy conversation, we cannot seem to understand and come to that common ground. Okay, yes. At some point, when we talk about the king of Accra is not only the king of Gamashi. But then again, the people from the Mashi side, yes, there is a king of Accra. But these states say, may autonomously. Any is the king of Accra, Abami, neighbor fe no kwe. Ebami, neighbor fe no neighbor fe. Mofemo recognize all. Choose whatever word you want to choose. Cause mono choose as the class prefect. Osmono choose as a class captain. Maybe the word overlord is the problem. Throw it into the dustbin. Whatever you want to call it. Maybe Obanyo tell a class prefect. Obanyo tell a class captain. Beka a class. Me be mofemo your class. Mofemo you the same grade, right? Shy a prefect. So you can call the king of Accra the prefect. The prefect at some point in your class here. I need engagements with other people. A representative of class Leno is serve as a liaison between the authority, in this case maybe the class teacher, and the pupils or the students in the class. You understand what I'm saying? Is the intermediary between leadership and subjects. You understand? So maybe not overlordship, but we've had a time in our history where new banyo check gamanchake legit class mofemo your class the same class the same grade, but it's a prefect. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, the word should disappear from our vocabulary. It is by definition divisive. Yes, you understand? So maybe right. Ona. So yes. So maybe we should do away with the overlordship. But There are certain facts, Jinkome. Ni ekashinkron. You understand? And we just need to understand that as a people. Ni will find a way where we can get this behind us and see, okay, how do we move forward? Because look, look. You know the funny part. Defender. You have people from Gamashi defending. Kafe Gamashi noko. Gamashi be per defender. You have people from Nungwa defending. Kafe noko from Osu. You thank you. Manvike, in all groups we have a leader. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Perfectly. Manvik na kaino bona. So wafe wali akegbe komeji wo. Wafe wali. Biane no ani lame ache demonstration over trade fair. Nyo kwa ke lame pe ba ya lo. Abaje Gamashi na ba afita lama yi. Abaje Teshi, abaje Osu, abaje Tema, abaje Nungwa na ba afita lama yi. Ani no kwa bagambi ade no kwe. Yes. Primus inter pares. There you go. Bona. You understand what I'm saying? So it is if we can come to that understanding. Okay, yes. Wafe wa ya grade komi. Wafe wa ya class komi. Shimo wa ya class prefect. Nile enyo woye. Shimon wafe wa kasi oning ni teacher class prefect echon learning separately. Echon wafe wa ning komi. Exam say na wafe wa ngale komi. So yes, these towns they have I'm an independent administration. But we know okay, there is a class prefect. There's a primus inter pares. You understand what I'm saying? If we can just come to that understanding, when once again, class prefect here, ene ake bele tamofe mono pese ni lekeno ko yebi ebe ta one ya ye ne yakọ we ni ekole me ni me yo jeme na mama shikpo no e ka me na san de gbapo no wadie na me ba fe press conference ne e chege na me fe no ko ewo we ni the class prefect eya ne ba to manche eyamoko inawoloko ni na at some point there was a gamanche ne interfere with manche womo ye other towns me. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you. So that we still get, yes, he is the class prefect. He is never the teacher. Exactly. In the echo, at some point there, ni class prefect interfere ye majina cheme na wo ye other town say komami. Dabi nakano ebe ogbemi. Oba me ka nu shishie e ka ke sane e boyin. Ka ke boyin e ko eche nye botue e ke nye kwe. But we ni o detect e ha me kome amebachi ami. We ni bonwo teshi ni ekole oto he no ko ye eko without recourse to many your jeme many shipon nie. Of course, I'm about to press conference now. So we are going. Thank you, Marozina. The prefect should not look down on the others. Perfectly, you understand? Shout out to you, Uncle Charles. So we are going about this whole thing wrongly. One go up. If you want to bring it back like the way it was, say then it's an ojogban. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are going about it wrongly. Now, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Manvike sem noko. Yeah, no koni minta o makande mabo. Actually, Bonin started conversation wo. Bonin ma script machakile. Okay, mavike back will be mba keba makani ye no. Boni my script ma chakile. Shut break pepe. Stick to your role as the class prefect. Don't try to be the teacher. You understand? When you try to be the teacher, of course, because many make about your class, I'm an equal jibu. You are the prefect. You are their leader. On you are me. Anytime no ba fe to mo obaya fe ni ne pe amemi ba fumbu. Ona, she can you understand your role as the prefect. Look, respect is earned. People will respect you. Ni obi amepo ni ogboda. Ni ogboda. Ngamini, people will respect you. No femini. Ni ogbe odang. If you are such a look, I've been a class prefect before. I've been a school prefect before. People will love you. People will love you. And guess what? The class prefects in certain classes come ni me suma me because I'm a few quote and unquote two no chong. Na school prefects in come before ni me by school prefect they come people don't really like them. You understand what I'm saying? So this whole conversation has been extremely divisive. We get squad there. Come on, you walk by Sunday. You say because look, we should pick and choose. The way the way you understand what I'm saying? And I think we should have that understanding. Like I said, the king of Accra must understand that these towns are run autonomously. They are independent. The other towns say, even though now I'm a town say independently, they should recognize that there is one class captain, there is one class prefect, and whoever sits, no, legend can class captain. Now, the class captain who must also understand. Once again, you see the whistles analogy. Okay, he's not a teacher. Kaya no ang malete say companies. Ni majiancheme ni yoje na mele. Heko. Companies say ya me mami. No teshi. No male. You understand what I'm saying? What is the purpose? Reach out to these people. Talk to them. They can actually lead you. But when you try to be sneaky on their blind side, come in, I'm about to show. And like I said, I hope it didn't happen in the other towns. You understand what I'm saying? Now, a couple of years ago, once again, blame me like I blame me work via AP. Onuni afe New Tinto announced something about the Ghana State Council is not new. It's not new. It didn't go now some time ago. In 1961, they actually passed the bill to abolish it. No Ghana State Council don't Ghana Traditional Council. Before Ghana Traditional Council, I think the Native Ordinance Act they established these state councils. You understand what I'm saying? And they abolished it. 1961, I believe. You understand? Now, Keje abolish noko the entire resurrect le. Once again, nyami kenyami shitamo juemo chomo any geshe sanu wa fe komi sanu wa ya wonye nyeba te oba fe te osu ko ojomo aba la ko ojomo aba teshi ko ojomo aba nunwa ko ojomo aba toman ko ojomo aba eke wokwebo ni wo ba yale. I've been told, once again, he saw say from Tema. That press conference and after a couple of years ago. I can't make no. Alaji bawa. Fail you all. Fail. Nakanoji no ni nke squad there. Nakanoji boni wo you really. And this is where Alaji Bawake, so from what I'm seeing, the other traditional leaders too is that they do not want all the authority to be at one point. So the Mankralo, Akwashonche, etc. of the Gun State should be shared equally. You are absolutely correct. And that is where a conversation comes in. No, you sit down with all of these people, moving forward, but when you take a unilateral decision, when the other states or the other countries are not consulted, of course they'll be reluctant to join whatever you think you're doing. Now, maybe I reach out to some other towns. It's so from Temang, ni ebi cheme ke na can clip and na ni tinto. I don't know. Once again, this is from my source. It may not be entirely correct. I don't know. Maybe I reach out to some other towns. Maybe I reach out to Ame. But he told me I get cheme ni ba fe press conference ko me ke na can press conference ni ni watch ni tinto ba fe. Ame tomambi aka me. They didn't know. No. I mean, no, Gina can clip be amini ejekwe. Okay. So the whistle, okay? La me una me fia me press conference. I'm make the same thing, same message from La me unke a consult yame. So get no ni what na kanye. Then we can say same for Teshi. We can safely say same for Teshi and say same for Nungwa. Now. Biamini, I elevate the other quarters in your machine into paramount here. Can okay share me? Ni otinto fe na can press conference here. If you guys remember, it was that particular day. Ni amena me elevation ni efe na can press conference here. So once again, no only 1961 I abolish. You understand? Ni o town ni o resurrect le kunwe. It calls for a conversation. Now, ni Gan State Council Chaki, ne ba chon quote unquote Gan Traditional Council, it maintain, for lack of a better description, the structure of what the Gan State Council used to be. So the old Gan Traditional Council, Majiacheme, ni yo all the other towns, I'm ba. The old Gan Traditional Council. Kabatania Mugi, you know, ameba. Shout out to you. You understand what I'm saying, man, sir? Bona. The Gan Traditional Council, it took over the form because, of course, Chairman Chuni Nakomo as the Gan State Council. Ni make a channel be amine ba Gan Traditional Council. You understand what I'm saying? So I make a channel nakano so. The Gan Traditional Council until recently, just a couple of years ago, after the demise of Nia Mugie, which was what in 2005, right? So prior to 2005, fairly recent, the Gan Traditional Council, as we know it, La Manche Jeme, Osumanche Jeme, Tema Manche, you understand? All of them, I'm fine about. So before Nia Mugie boy, catch a Gan Traditional Council. The current composition no na kanjibonye yo a stretch or to the other towns now in Kebuake. Yes Manvik, you are absolutely correct. The Gamashi Mancheme erred by not consulting the other chiefs from Osutu Tema. Absolutely. Oh, Nagai. You understand what I'm saying? I think I will know. Show a chucky. Show a chucky. Kodi Magbele in Kenchame Babano, you have a very good conversation because in Yanibi P, Nishuan Fayakama Kande Mahabushi, like I said, that academic exercise, Beckett, when you watch you like Beckett. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad I can show a check it. Now, I circulate. Okay, thank you. So Jobu we manchepo ke they were still there kata 2010. They left in 2011. Thank you. Bona. Jobu we manche nyele position nyele position ye ga traditional council. You understand what I'm saying? So correct what you be. Bona. Ake kata 2010 fair poe the traditional council ni wale J current composition no na ya ka kata toman. I'm a shit 2011. You understand what I'm saying? And between 2011 Kabatabi and look at the state of a Gamashi. And that should tell you everything. So if you want to blame anybody, yeah, no more in can report there. I wanted to read it. She like I said, it can be baba. You understand what I'm saying? So I can report there. Actually, a script ending man, I can jiboni in fe yaga majeshishi. Nima kan fe like a subcommittee from the National House of Chiefs say yes. Maybe I should do that. We'll see. Okay. So we can have a better. Like I said, I have a lot of things to show you. She, boy, ni jobu ewono. Let's see if we can do that. Koni. Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, it's all good. I think I get NMFN why so. Belemoni ami know your. Belly. Hey. If I nyam once again, magbele mintani. Okay, just okay, Google Drive. Okay, mintani. Get chonye. Ni show your screen there no ojo bang. So yeah, me 1 second. Oh, okay. All right. I think I don't know what Nick 1 second. So let me show it to you yeah, in this way. Right. So ani makane ene mahabo. Surely before ni makane ene mahabo poe. I'm a try video name mahabo. I think a lot of you saw this video, and if you ask me, I think
from the Ghana side to be the president.
I think this is very bad. You understand? Our video ne. A lot of you saw this video.
From the Ghana side to be the president.
What were some of?
Number one, I was able to move. The Ghans wanted, especially from Tema Teshinla Nungwa, they wanted some, what do you call it? They wanted paramountcy, right? They were all British now. And I had to discuss that with the overlord, that it was Nyamugi, several times to elevate them. It was quite difficult, but I got it.
Did you catch something here? Honorable Joshua Alabi referred to Nyamugi as the overlord. Let me take it back. But I agree with the whistle. Okay, that word is divisive. So maybe we should throw it away. But come the way ni Honorable Joshua Alabi identify Nyamugi.
It was quite difficult, but I got it. And that give, because you see, you go to the regional House of Chiefs meeting, and from the Ga side, it was only Niambugi was a primary chief. So it was difficult for somebody from the Ga side to be the president of the region. So those days you could hear of Azuma. Azuma.
I think I get Ihui.
I got it, and that gave. And I had to discuss that with the overlord. That it was Niambugi. They were all divisional, and I had to discuss that with the overlord. That it was Niambugi, right? They were all divisional, and I had to discuss that with the overlord. That it was Niambugi. Several times to elevate them. It was quite difficult, but I got it, and that gave, because you see, you go to the regional House of Chiefs meeting, and from the Ga side, it was only Niambugi was a primary chief. So it was difficult for somebody from the Ga side to be the president of the region. So those days you could hear of Azuma. Azuma, is it no? That's, I forgot it, I'll get it. They were always from the Ga-Dangme side, and there was that complaint, right? And Niambugi was sick.
Yeah, for a long
time. So it meant that they were not well represented. And that was the fight. So I had to sit with Niambugi to elevate them. And I remember the day he agreed with me, I went to my office, typed a letter for him to release, because I don't want to leave and somebody will go and change his mind.
Yeah.
Went to him, he signed the letter, and straight I gave it to the media and they announced. And then we started the process of, and that's how come we have now Nongwa as a paramount divisional. Yes.
Right. So if you ask me, this was a very dubious way to get it done, but he got it done. I mean, of course, he's from Nongwa. Shout outs to him, but he needed to do what he needed to do too. I don't think this is an achievement worth celebrating, because it's only divided us more. This only divided us more. This only made our quest for unity as a people virtually impossible. I mean, I'm using virtually because it may be our generation if you be baby. It's almost impossible. Our quest for unity is almost impossible. And I think this contributed significantly to that. You understand what I'm saying? So the purpose was not to have a united Ga-Dangme. You see, it's the same, like I said, the same refrain. Not to have a united Ga-Dangme, but it's us from the Ga side. Because when you be a year, we also want to have the chance at some point to also be president of the regional House of Chiefs. But the king of Accra is bigger than the president of the regional House of Chiefs. It's just a fact. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just a fact. Once again, he's the class captain. So it is some level of grandiose, maybe not bigger, but because he's the class captain, it has some level of grandiosity, you understand, around a position than that of the president of the regional House of Chiefs. Now, mind you, it is the regional House of Chiefs and the national House of Chiefs. It's just for administrative purposes. You understand what I'm saying? But let's read this document from the National House of Chiefs. I would want to read everything for you. But once again, like I said, this Jenna owner. So I'm trying to see which pages Makande Mahabo. You know what? I'm going to be really fast. So follow me. Makande so Kemiaya Onu. Now, National House of Chiefs, 4th July 2011. So onage ni jobu ke wake 2011 G biami ni amefen ameshin. Report of the subcommittee of the National House of Chiefs on applications for elevation of 12 stools from divisional to paramount status in the traditional area of the Greater Accra region. So let's go on. I am directed by the Wulugu Naba Puganswa na Professor John S. Nabila, President of the National House of Chiefs, to respectfully send you a copy of the executive summary of the report of the subcommittee of the National House of Chiefs, which was set up to examine the applications for elevation of 12 stools from divisional to paramount status in the Greater Accra region for your information. I'm further directed to inform you that a full House meeting of the House held on Wednesday, 29 June 2011, the House adopted the report for implementation as follows. So this is the report that the House, in this case, the National House of Chiefs, this is what they adopted. Now, let's go on. 1. Separate traditional councils should be established for the 6 traditional areas which are to be restored to their independent status as paramount stools, i.e. Tema, Nungwa, Teshi, La, Osu, and Jamestown, English Shalata. While the 6 divisions of Gamashi, i.e. Asan, Sempe, Bese, Otubloum, Abola, and Akumaji will remain as part of the Ga Traditional Council. Once again, you see, I don't know, many may represent Nekendo Kone. I don't know what facts they presented. I don't know what sort of argument they were able to make in addition to the facts that they presented. Reading this, in one Danny Bikume, but you know what? Politics, right? This is what happens when we allow politics to influence our chieftaincy affairs. I can tell you, okay, this report has a lot of political influence. Ni ke olenoni eteno. Shout out to you, Momo Klabe Mawa. Ke olenoni eteno. Olenoni eteno. Tiacholete. Within this period, we kind of come and say, Obana, look, I can let time. In I can send me for some reason. I can send it to me. Yes, I'm a promise in Yamuginogo and be an I'm in Feno conclu. But yeah, we'll get to that point. Yeah, I have that letter read to me. I've asked, I can send it in my handy, but in the check on so let's go on. Number 2, the Manchame paramount chiefs of Tema, Teshinungwa, Osula, and Jamestown, English Alata, should continue to be members of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs in their own right as paramount chiefs of their respective traditional areas, in addition to the Gamanche, who is the paramount chief of Ga traditional area. Once again, mind you, okay, this Ga traditional area, up until Nekendo Kone, Osu, La, Teshi, I'm a family Ga traditional council, formerly known as the Ga State Council. They were all part. Now, let's go on. That's number 2. Okay, now, let's see. Let's go. Report of the National House of Chiefs Subcommittee Elevation of Stools in Galata. So, report, we are appointed as a subcommittee of the National House of Chiefs on the authority of the letters with reference number. We were tasked to look into the merits or otherwise of applications for the elevation of the underlisted 12 divisional stools in the Ga traditional area. So once again, traditional area, let an enkebo proud to make reports ni ake paramount say na fair be right. In the traditional area start and to submit our findings and recommendations to the National House of Chiefs. So these 12 divisions are known Abola, Akamaji, Asre, Bese, La, English Shalata, Nungwa, Osu, Otublong, Sempe, Tema, La. Let's go on. Our committee was integrated at the Gettysburg Memorial Hall, Dodowa, on Tuesday, 19th October 2010. We commenced sittings on Wednesday, 20th October 2010 at the Institute of Local Government Studies, Ogbojo, Madina, Accra, In all, we held 6 sittings and received evidence from 18 witnesses comprising individuals and groups representing the stools concerned, including Kintakitaya III, Benichage Joe Blangsing, Dr. Joe Blangsing, the Gamanche. So apparently he was not able to make the case. Hello, I don't know what case he made there, but let's go. We are pleased to inform you of the completion of our work and accordingly submit herewith our report. We take this opportunity to thank the National House of Chiefs for the confidence reposed in us and thus enabling us to serve our country. We also thank the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Culture for providing financial support to make this work possible. Last but not the least, we thank the staff of the ministry, the National House of Chiefs, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, and the Traditional Council for their diverse administrative support. Let's move on. So on a table of content, say, executive summary, introduction, methodology, everything is there. Let's go. Executive summary. Watch page 9 out of 15. So 6 more. Introduction and background. Following recommendations by the late Gamanche, Ni Amugi II, and subsequently by the incumbent Gamanche, Kintakitaya III. So Joe Blangsing actually pushed this. Except I don't know. I'm a promise niya amugi Joe Blangsing le no na promise niya amugi ni insist na kano isani ani bami dani I'm a fan na elevations and I'm a tower because there was a promise made to Nyamugi but that it will continue to remain the overlord. We want Joshua Alabi refer to Nyamugi as the overlord. Like I said, if ni none konoto egba kumana, that lexicon can be thrown away. Know what you say, Kunkulu? You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, historically, there has always been a class captain that leads the class. There has always been a class captain that leads the class. Always. And we will go back. In case Sisi Rendo of Oluwe Makane no Koyemi Machombo. Dr. Aye lectures kome. There is a portion koni Dr. Aye Iwe no Makande Mahabo. Like I said, in Nanibi P, but any boli, academic, it would have to be a weekend show. So I run through some of these things quick. Okay, one way. We were appointed by the National House of Chiefs as a subcommittee on the research committee of the House to determine the merits or otherwise of the applications made. We were to submit our findings and recommendations and advise the research committee of the House accordingly. Inauguration of committee. The committee was inaugurated at the Gadgisburg Memorial Hall, Dodowa, on Tuesday, 19th October 2010, by the President of the National House of Chiefs, Wulugu Naba Pungunsoa na Professor John S. Nabila. This is what happens. Because we couldn't get our shit together, you will have people from other places. They don't really understand the history of where you NOJ making decisions from you. You understand? That is why Ekome Femo, there is nothing that beats Ekome Femo. We will not have others from other regions making decisions for us. Number 1.3, inaugural and subsequent meetings. The committee held its inaugural sitting at the Institute of Local Government Studies, Ogbojo, Medina, Accra, on Wednesday, 20th October 2010. The committee sittings continued up to Friday, 22nd October 2010, and again from Wednesday, 1st December to Friday, 3rd December 2010. In all, the committee held 6 sittings and received evidence from 18 witnesses comprising individuals and groups representing the stools concerned. The committee had the privilege of receiving before it the Gamanche, King Taki Taya III methodology. Apart from oral evidence, the committee consulted and made references to relevant published materials. 1.5, observations and findings, previous works. So let's go on. We observed that there has been 2 earlier works relating to the subject matter, namely the Commission of Inquiry appointed by the colonial government in 1907 with John Maxwell and F.G. Crowther as members, and 2, the Committee of Inquiry appointed by the National Redemption Council in 1975 under the chairmanship of Justice I.K. Aban, Justice of the High Court of Judicature, as he then was, and Nana Kwafo Akoto II, Omahini of Akomu traditional area, and now P.K. Paul Nandum na as members. Appendix 1.152. Letter dated 22nd September 1998 from late Kamanche Boni Ni Amugi II to the National House of Chiefs on applications for elevation of 12 divisional stools. This letter was thumbprinted by the late Kamanche Boni Ni Amugi II. The committee observed, however, that there was no jurat attesting to the authority of the document. That notwithstanding, the contents of the letter were not discounted. So letter ni Nyamugi eton print amekete ni boli is supporter no ni ametawo ni amefi ke obo like I said no ni padi yes Nyamugi was virtually forced to put his thumbprint on. Anyway, the committee observed from evidence before it that's because Nyamugi was sick at the time. He was sick. You understand? And so we can say okay, Nyamugi didn't have the mental capacity. Me useless loosely mental capacity. Ni eba accent to nekenoko. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying okay, but I'm saying okay. He was incapacitated, right? Maybe that is the right way to put it. He was incapacitated. So Mokoni, he was incapacitated. Of course, may I influence a lot of the decisions I make. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people will influence a lot of the decisions they are making, and that is what contributed to it. You can even tell from Honorable Joshua Alabi Yuemomiake, Nyamugi was reluctant in actually doing this. So it took a long time. And of course, it continued to get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go on with what we are reading. That notwithstanding, the committee observes from the evidence before it, the evidence shows a number of them insisting on restoration. The committee observes from the evidence before it that some of the chiefs who were purported to have been elevated by Boni Ni Amugi in his letter under the reference were not aware of the said elevation. The evidence shows a number of them insisting on restoration to their previous paramount status, but not elevation. That notwithstanding, the committee does not base its finding and recommendations solely on the correspondence from the Ga-Dangme, but from all others which came before it, and the testimonies like evidence by witness, relevant source of documents, and the special circumstances surrounding the matter. Appendix 3. Appendix 3 is a letter dated 4th May 2007 from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs recommending the elevations. The basis of the recommendations is to the effect that A, Accra is expanding rapidly, and therefore it needs a proper traditional arrangement to take care of the current demands. This is one of the loosest excuses. But anyway, traditional rulers in Ghana B need to be of a rank which will make their impact more felt in both the regional House of Chiefs and other places. This is all said and good, except okay, after you getting this, you've negated on your promises and you are doing something else. C, the affected 12 divisional stools have been loyal to the Paramount stool over the years, and they will continue to all C, Bobby Etui, very, very important. Bobby Etui. Nibi etena me yue, nibi eten, di majache me yue. Amasama jenshi yeku, Botui. Appendix 3. Appendix 3 is a letter dated 4th May 2007 from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs recommending the elevations. The basis of the recommendations is to the effect that A, Accra is expanding rapidly, and therefore it needs a proper traditional arrangement to take care of the current demands. B, traditional rulers in Ga need to be of a rank which will make their impact more felt in both the regional House of Chiefs and other places. It carries a lot of weight. Now, the same report any elevator me come see to it, and this was because I have the letter. Like I said, I don't have it. In Bina can me, and I'm praying. I can't in the I can't have me in Nuken to it. Bobby to it. See, the affected 12 divisional stools should have been loyal to the Gampaman stool. No, they should have. Let me see. Okay, a dial screen there no ni oh na oh. Nyana don. Lagen can chonye. Hey, Miss Anini. There you go. Agbene nyena. Anima kanele manefia bo ni makande nyena jeme. Producer said, Niana. Anyways, let's go on. So, anima kane jame kung. Ama kane appendix 3 kung. Imagine bi anenye a lot of weight. Appendix 3 a lot of weight. So come on. Appendix 3 is dated 4th May 2007 from the Greater Accra Region House of Chiefs recommending the elevations. The basis of the recommendations is to the effect that A, Accra is expanding rapidly and therefore it needs a proper traditional arrangement to take care of the current demands. B, traditional rulers in Ga need to be okay. Thank you. Producer, can you move slightly to the left? Let me see if I can do it here. This is as far as producer, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately. Yeah, okay. So let's go on. Traditional rulers in Ga need to be of a rank which will make their impact more felt in both the regional House of Chiefs and other places. C, the affected 12 divisional stools have been loyal to the Gampaman stool over the years, and they will continue to owe allegiance to the Gampaman stool, even as they also become paramount chiefs. The affected 12 divisional stools have been loyal to the paramount stool over the years, and they will continue to owe allegiance to the paramount stool, even as they also become paramount chiefs. So, just as it was, just as it is, Otumfuo paramount chief ni. No, Otumfuo is a paramount chief. But all the paramouncies in the Ashanti region, I may owe allegiance to Otumfuo. Ke ote achim, all the paramount chiefs ni yo achime, I may owe the allegiance to Motia of repaying. That's it. This is from the same report that elevated them. This is not different. This quotation and BNNO na amame reasons ni ameha ake ame sumo ake I elevate ame no ameke look, they have been loyal to the Gampaman stool over the years, and they will continue to owe, quote and unquote, allegiance. There is nothing like look, I understand in Yeme Tamabi, and I don't blame them because a chong benopapa. Where then you're there is not alliance. It's not alliance. They will continue to owe allegiance to the Gampaman stool, even as they also become paramount chiefs. No bonio na aleye Otumfuo is a paramount chief. Ni all the paramounts is here shishi. Ni ame owe allegiance to the Ga stool will be the same. I'm a reasons now I come in sumuna elevator and this promise said they actually made it to Nyamugi in writing. They did. It's in writing. I am going to get it. That document, I will get it and I will read it. Minutes now make pay a traditional council. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Minutes now meeting now me fair traditional minutes. I swear allegiance to Nyamugiake. He will continue to be the overlord. Now they actually made reference to Otumfuo. I'm a faith to Moboni Otumfuo no yo. They said it in letter na kane. They actually said it. So no mamekene. They have always been loyal to the Ganstu. No akaji I elevate Amedienche. They will owe allegiance to the Gampamans too. That's what they said. That's what these divisions say. No ni amekene. You understand what I'm saying? Now let's go on. On these issues, the committee regrets to say that the physical expansion of a town per se is not a sine qua non for the grant of or elevation of a stool to paramountcy. On the other hand, chieftaincy hierarchies are based on and are regulated by customary law and usages. Secondly, the evidence before the committee does not support the proposition that when elevated to paramountcies, the said stools will continue to maintain their loyalty and continue to owe allegiance to the Gampamans too. So the same thing, because it was a promise they made to Nyamugi. Let's go on. Appendix 7. Appendix 7 is a follow-up letter from King Takitaya III, the incumbent Gamanche, to the National House of Chiefs on the elevations. The letter was signed by King Takitaya III as Gamanche and president of the Traditional Council. The committee notes that the Gamanche could not have signed as president of the Traditional Council. This is because at that time, King Takitaya III's name had not been entered into the National Register of Chiefs. Indeed, to date, his name has not been entered in the said register. By law, therefore, he was not and is not yet the president of the Traditional Council. So, onanoni ameke fin le unwe jeme. Onanoni ameke fin Dr. Joe Blankson yebiye. Noni unwa ameke fin Dr. Joe Blankson yebiye ne. Yes, Alaji Bawa, yes. The word is allegiance and not alliance. Yes, that's the word. Now, let's go on. So, Nona make a fin, Dr. Joe Blankson. Look, Gamashibi, we have no one to blame but ourselves. This is what happens. This is what happens. Come on, Dr. Joe Blankson, Nona make a fin, okay, his name has not been entered into the National House of Chiefs, so it better can capacity here. Let's go on. Origins of the Gan-speaking people. We don't need you guys to tell us our origins. We actually know it. Let me go on. Political / traditional organization relationships amongst the groups. Again, we observe that each of the 7 autonomous groups has had its own political, traditional, and customary arrangement or governance systems without interference from each other. We continue to say this all the time. Consequently, we find that the towns of Tema, Teshi, Nungwa, La, Osu, and Jamestown, Alata owes no allegiance to Gamanche. Suffice it to say that they only became part of the Traditional Council by legislation and for administrative purposes. Once again, I don't know what sort of history was presented to these people, because historically, this is not right. Now, administratively, maybe, but historically, and that is why. Look, that is why I'm a division. Say now I'm in town now. I elevate. That is why now they said they will continue to owe allegiance to the Gastu because they know the history. But this is what the committee did. Committee history division say present a committee war history a chafo. If this was the case, there is no way any these divisions will go. They will continue to owe. The word is continue to owe allegiance. You cannot continue something. You can only continue something. You understand? But once again, because we could not get our shit together, this is what we ended up with. Why would they say okay, they will continue to owe allegiance to anybody? History is supporting Nakainoko. The history supports that. Now, let's go on. Okay, the next one, 12. Okay, so let's go to Gamashi. We observe that the Gamashi is made up of 7 divisions, namely Abola, Asme, Bese, Otublom, Sempe, Akomaji, and Jamestown. We find that all the divisions except Jamestown, English Alata, owe allegiance to the Gamanche. Once again, this is not accurate. Historically, you understand? Ke obu any achon ni afo English alata say the idea ake historically English alata allegiance to the Gamanche, it's not right. You understand what I'm saying? Because saying aja eko na afo. Otublo umbiye denche amedenche ame Gamashi emi. So many wa na afo nye say amenenche amedienche po ame allegiance to Mogo. Once again, so like I said, the historical I don't know, but hey, let's go on. Nike aywe Jamestown ni oywe alatabiye no ywa kamaji no ywe sempeme amefe ame shishi jasene sempeme asene bi ame shishi jasene akamaji ame shishi jasene. So once again, like I said, I don't know the sort of history that was told to these people. You understand what I'm saying? So it is not right. It is not right. Okay, English alata. Never like I said. You understand? Otublo umbiye na me for say I'm fit like they helped in I'm saying for it. I'm a podi enche I'm a Gamanche shishi. Akama JB and Gasene meji ame. Sempe me uwe ame wa sene meji ame. Ne ogaga sene ji che. Ji ganfe che. Je yue mo kukeke. Mo fe mo boti asene mi. Bese boti asene mi. Lanteja we boti asene mi. Mo fe mo abola boti asene mi. Mo fe mo boti asene mi. So mamie ne for ne ken towns ne le po allegiance to the gas too. You know boy. you see what I'm saying? This is distorted history. Like I said, it is because we've not been able to put our house together. Thank you. You understand what I'm saying? So historically, this is not accurate. This is not accurate. Now, let's go on. What time? We find again that even though the separate divisions of Gamashi, together with Tema, Teshi, Nungwala, Osu, Jamestown, constituted one traditional council, it does not make them one and the same stock of people belonging to one traditional area. We observe that the term Gamanche is misleading as it creates the impression that the Gamanche is the paramount chief of all the Ga-speaking people. We find that the Gamanche is the paramount chief of Gamashi. This is absolutely... Now, recommendations. Now, once again, get your no so shia ni boy. Ba so shia boy. No na me fione. When you have somebody from the north, somebody from the Achim traditional area, ni amele history ojogba moko ba nyeba ta me yen ne male ame na me ba ya woni ba min kebo fe wole ake nonin can be no history is supporting the history as we know it does not support what the committee captured. Now, from our findings, we make the following recommendations. Restoration to previous paramountcy status. The committee makes a unanimous recommendation that the following towns, traditional areas, should be restored or reverted to their previous status as paramountcies. Tema, Teshi, Nungwa, Osu, La, Jamestown, English letter. Divisional status. The committee is unable. The committee is unable to arrive at a consensus on the status of the following 6 divisional stools within the Gamashi traditional area by a majority of 4 against a minority of 2. They are to remain divisional stools. Right. So once again, so look, this was very, very political. I mean, look, this report was not generated based solely on the history of the place. It was not. This is clearly an extremely politicized report. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let's go on. What I'll show you the other things. Think about okay. They are to remain divisional stools of Gamashi as by custom. They owe allegiance to the Gamanche as their paramount chief. The stools are Asore Abola. Sempe Abola, Asore Akamaje, Bese, and Otu Blohum. While the minority recommends that all except Abola should be elevated to paramountcies, the majority rather recommends that divisional councils should be created for them. Traditional councils. Separate traditional councils should be established for the 6 towns and are to be restored to their paramountcy status. Tema, Nungwa, Teshi, La, Osu, and Jamestown. While the 6 divisional towns of Gamashi, Asore, Sempe, Bese, Otubloum, Abola, and Akomaji remain as the Ga traditional council. Admission to Greater Accra Region House of Chiefs. The Mancheme, into parentheses, paramount chiefs of Tema, Teshi, Nungwa, Osula, and Jamestown, English Yalata, should be admitted to the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs in their own right as paramount chiefs of their respective traditional areas, in addition to the Gamanche, who is the paramount chief of Gamashi traditional area. Overlord, the divisive word, we are unable to recommend the position of the Gamanche as the overlord of the paramount chiefs of the various Ga traditional areas, as we lack jurisdiction in that regard. So once again, they didn't say, I may throw it out outrightly. They lack jurisdiction. In any case, we leave the question of the formation of a free and voluntary association of chiefs to the chiefs and people to decide. So they didn't say, they are saying they lack jurisdiction. I'm about to declare Nakainoko. That's what he said. In conclusion, we find by consensus that there is merit in the request for 6 of the stools, the subject matter of this committee to be elevated. So there you have it. Indeed, to be restored to the original status of paramountcy. These are Tema, Teshi, Nungwala, Osu, and Jamestown. The majority do not, however, find any merit in the request for elevation of other 6, namely Abola, Gbese, Otubron, Asere, Sempe, and Akumaji, since they form the basis of or quarters of divisions of the Gamashi traditional area, over which the Gamanche is the paramount chief. This is a very political work. You and I, the people behind this political work and what they gave to arrive at this conclusion, guess because historically it is not true. What you've just heard me read, clearly not true. Once again, so I wonder the people ni ame te nakaini femo what was the historical fact, what did they show, what did they give to people, how convincing was their argument, and all of that. Now, come on. Yes, when I'm done. CC Randolph. You no go here. No. I went back to it. Noni CC Randolph. I don't know. But you already know. This is one. History of Gold Coast and Asante. So, Anima Kande, chapter 2. It can just a page and a half. No need to one ijame wabana ijame. Bona. Koni, I have some other thing. Koni thank you. Like ya show. It's a very interesting definition of Ga. Its boundary. The first powerful kingdom formed by the Accras on the coast. The first 3 queens, Akwamus, the first Chi refugee, and the formation of a state and power. The Portuguese and other Europeans forming settlements on the Gold Coast for the purpose of slave trade. The expedition of Haramata by King Mamponkai, the tyrannical reigns of Queen Dode Akabi and her son Okankwe, whose reign caused the destruction of the kingdom of Accra by the Akwamus, 1500 to 1660. Now, mind you, so lepoe any etene except the Ga kingdom has been in existence many hundred years before. You understand what I'm saying? The Ga kingdom did not start from the 1400s or the 1500s. No. Now, let's go on. Ga is the name particularly applied to the people and country bounded on the east by the lagoon Chemu near Tama, west by the river Sakumofio, south by the sea, and north by the Kwampim Mountains. So Ga people now, it is, however, generally applied to the people and land from the Cook's Loaf or Langba to the Volta. The 7 towns forming the Accra proper are Ga, English or Jamestown, British Accra, Kinka or Ashertown, Dutch Accra, Osu, so both we Ga, committee Gamanche is misleading. I don't know what history, like I said, anyways, but it's all good. Let's go on. Osu or Christianborg, Danish Accra. Pay attention. Osu or Christianborg. There is a document naming town in Kechombo. Once again, about Chombo Ga Manche Authority. Osu, Christianborg. Pay attention. La or Labadi, Teshi, Ningoa, or Leto Ningo, 7, Tema. The Ga, Ga-Dangme coast towns are Pong, or Pony, Bubra, or Pampram, Nungo, Nungo, or Ningo, and Adan. The inland Ga-Dangme towns are Shai, Krobo, Osudoku, and Asuchuare. The reduplication of Ga is Ganga, which is a kind of the big black ants which bite severely and are formidable to the white ants. One more page. And in chapter 2, so don't worry. The native designate themselves Loyabi or Loabi. Loi is the Ga name for another species of the black ants, which wander about in great swarms and thus invade houses, killing and devouring every living thing that comes in their way. These ants are called Inkran by the cheese and Fantis. I think cheese, maybe a neighbor cheese. Okay. The Portuguese coming to this part of the coast may have brought down Fanti servants who must have told them the place is Inkran. As foreigners, they could not pronounce it so properly. They called it Accra, which the English spell A-C-C-R-A. So the original spelling is A-K-R-A. As their name designates, they must have been a very numerous and powerful wandering tribes who were easily subdued by Aborigines. 14 big towns are said to have existed inland of Ushertown. 14. One as large as our present Jamestown and Ushertown put together 4 times, or at least 40 to 50,000 inhabitants. It is said that all the inland elevations or hills, such as Akpadegon, Pletekogon, Muko, Amomole, Fanofa, Dokucho, Kushibiete, and Noko at big towns on them formerly. Jametowns, Christianburg, and Teshi were then not founded. The tribes of Nungoa or Wo at several towns, Woduko, Bacha Kole, Lashibi, Koko, Nyaga, Wokble, Wodode, Washagba, Wo Akwamu, Wo Bobo, and Nogonoko, with Woduku as the capital. The Labadis were then on the Abuasa Hill and near the river in Saki, whilst Ashi Yaote, the priest of Lakma, once again, you have Yaote Kuebi. Okay, Ashi Yaote, the priest of Lakma, resided on the Ashangote Hill. The tribe of Tema or Peshi likewise at several towns. Tebiano, Podoku, Ache, Bidoku, Alagba, Lakamabi, Takimabi. If I know I'm butchering these towns. There was a large town with several other towns near Sasabi, known as Shoyi. All these tribes and people, as well as the Ga-Dangmes and Lays or Agotime, down nyebu abietu bi ene nta wo nyebu atu na amaka na eko amaje paragraph echichi. There was a large town with several other towns near Sasabi known as Shoyi. All these tribes and people, as well as the Ga-Dangmes and Lays or Agotims, down to the Volta, the Obutus, Aquamus, and the Kwapims were tributary states to the king of Accra. Amakade Jamaico. Bobby Atwigo. There was a large town with several other towns near Sasabi known as Shoyi. All these tribes and people, so these tribes and people, born and on Achefe, Achela, Ache Tomang, Ache Kete, Achefe, they get one. All these tribes and people, as well as the Ga-Dangmes, so about the Dangme no mean fair, and Lays or Agotims down to the Volta, Bona. So yeah, I believe I was telling my people this Bona. Ya Volta minton. The Obutus, Aquamus, and the Kwapims were tributary states to the king of Accra. In short, the whole extent of the kingdom is said to have reached as far down as Ramata, north of Little Popo on the east, and to Akan near Obutu on the west. This is what C.C. Randolph said. So when we talk about the king of Accra, according to C.C. Randolph, it goes even about your voter in Klapo. So Shikone, all these tribes and people know that they chef. I'm a fan. They were under the king of Accra. They were all under the king of Accra. And there is only one. Get mancha komepa achole king. Legimoni taga mancheseno. Ache moko king. Wachame ni bi ameti amekomencha dabi amefe ache moko king. There is only one king of Accra. Le taga mancheseno. Only one. Thank you. John Geledo Popo is in Benin. So you see, non kebake. I don't know what sort of history. My name is Ta Committee and no ni ame kande ni amena. Because the proper history ni wale it is evidently clear. Okay, all these towns were under the king of Accra. Nkomo ene stretcher ke ya ton odi enche. Now, a tributary state mini jeshishi. Now, our Bonnie AI define tributary state definition. Unfortunately, in your Zoom but there you go right here. Boba no Google on your phone. Mini noni AI care. The AI define a tributary state. A tributary state is a pre-modern. So, of course, we are in the modern age. But so this is what it described it. A tributary state is a pre-modern political entity that acknowledges the supremacy of a more powerful neighboring state by regularly sending tribute, usually valuable goods, resources, or symbolic items like gold, flowers, as a sign of submission, loyalty, and to secure protection and trade privileges. So, Kake tributary state say this is what it is. Bona define le. Amakanele ko. A tributary state is a pre-modern political entity that acknowledges the supremacy of a more powerful neighboring state, a suzerain, by regularly sending tribute, usually valuable goods, resources, or symbolic items like gold, flowers, as a sign of submission, loyalty, and to secure protection and trade privileges. Yes. Okay. Mokonke Little Popo is in Aneho, Togo, please, not Benin. Okay. Okay. So I check no na chole adode. I'm a pure adode, and you can only pay adode to somebody that, once again, you owe some form of a loyalty to. You understand? So once again, Menimete subcommittee. That is why I said it's very, very political. Look, the Ga as a united force is unbeatable. And there was a political engineering behind Nekeno Kone na affair. Kone a weekend or more. And unfortunately, we're falling for it. Once again, what fall a cone? Because the history does not support what the committee captured. It does not support it. You understand what I'm saying? It does not. Now, in Kebwake, pay attention to Mina Chole Osu Christianburg, right? Now, when I will learn in Ketchobwe, in the back my screen and no kwe. Love you too. When I will learn, I'm a zoom le out. My feel like boo, kununa. On any idencha, ni mancho kakwe. It can have Dane say for any amema osu castle ye. So naga manche kejije le shikpo nie te fi ote ne ha in danger. Ama kane no kwe. 18th August 1661. treaty between King Okankwe, Great Accra, the King of Denmark, and the Danish African Company. Okay, I, King Okankwe, inge king bokobe pa chole king. Ache mogomogo king. Monita gamanche no lepegi king. Since time immemorial. But we. I, King of Great Accra, do hereby proclaim with this document, 3 copies of which, identical in content, have been drawn up and signed by my own hand for myself and all my successors, Kabosiers, and whoever may head the government of Great Accra. I'm a failure, but let me struggle. And serve as its leader, whether on land or along the coast, that from this date on, I do make settlement, and once more, for the present and in perpetuity, I've sold Ozu's lands and coast for a sum of 50 benda in kind to the noble Mr. Just Grammar, governor at Fredericksburg in Guinea, in the name and on behalf of His Royal Majesty of Denmark and His noble chartered Danish African Company, with which I'm also sufficiently satisfied, subject to the following conditions: that the said Governor Grammar shall build for his king and his noble chartered Danish African Company a fortress and stone house at Osu at the first possible opportunity. And when this becomes possible, I further undertake to grant him all possible assistance, and there also to help and protect the said Danish company in Osu and all other lands and coast belonging to me by birth, against all hostile attacks and nuisances, whether committed by the inhabitants and natives or other white nations, whosoever they might be. Thus I do hereby transfer and surrender once again, free and without encumbrance, to the said Kramer for his principals the right to use and employ as their property at their will and pleasure the whole area and rights in Osu in all perpetuity. And as further affirmation, I have eaten the fetish called Akwando to this effect in the presence of okay, so Agmale literally. Okay, I have eaten the fetish called Akwando, please forgive me, to this effect in the presence of something like that, I guess, son of the late King Ahinakwa of Fetu, who has been sent here to this end from Futu or Alo Fetu, and James Carson of Fredericksburg. And in proof of this, I've signed 3 documents with. So this is the indenture. No can pay attention to Osu Christian Ball Castle. Ni in Kane no habwe. So this is the indenture. Ni manchekio kankwe ekeha, and I'm sure Danish be no I'm a cover no GN. I am sure if we go deep into history, we may use may advisedly. We may find Adanibi come in some of the towns ni manche at the time. Probably Leon indenture. And that should tell you something. You understand what I'm saying? That should tell you something. Now, Ghana State Council, it was not a new creature. Ni onuni otinto yue earlier, but I abolished it in 1961. Now, I think a document name watch, but this was also shared widely. Thursday, March 29th, 1945, 5. I hope you can see that on the screen as well. Held at the Palladium, Accra, on Thursday, the 29th day of March, 1945. Before, come on, Ni Taki Tayua the second Gamanche. President, oh, Dabi. I'm a chombo woluniji, nkane ko jama habo. Come on. Bien. Thursday, March 29th, 1945. In the State Council of the Ga State, Eastern Province, Gold Coast. Come on. In the State Council of the Ga State, Eastern Province, Gold Coast. So the Ga State, like I said, 2023, I think they tried to revive it, but they didn't do the needful. So I blame the Ga Traditional Council for noni jese eba. Kedi ame fe ni bi ojuba na me cheme fe attache ni bi ba set out clearly. Now, held at the Palladium, Accra, on Thursday, the 29th day of March, 1945, before Ni King Takitayua II Gamanche, president. So come on. Aite Ajin, the third, Bese Manche, member. Henry Nunu, caretaker of Abola Affairs, member. Amu Nakwa, the second, Otubloum Manche. Okain Jaseche, representing Asore Manche, right there. Waite E Tete, the third, Obutu Manche. So Ajobutu Tonaba, the Ga State Council, just like Noni Onuni CC Reign of Capture, the Ga State Council as it was. So Obutu Manche, Eba. Ayikai the second, Akamaje Manche. Ahuma Kojo the second, Jamestown Manche. Tete Beshi the second, Sempe Manche. Aje Onano the fifth, La Manche. Afotefio Kwe Rep Nungwa Manche. Ajete Ansa the second, Tema Manche. And elders, councillors, linguists, and captain of the state. Record taken by Ashali Oko in the matter of the Native Administrative Ordinance and in the matter of the election and installation of Abraham Ne Tete as Teshi Manche by the Mankralo and his party. And in the matter of the election and installation of Emmanuel Badu Afutu as Teshi Manche by the Teshi Jaseche and his party. And in the matter of Section 8 of the Native Administrative Ordinance 1936. So na aba next meeting na aba na aba ye Teshi Manche masande ye me Teshi me ye. Once again, so look, the all of these towns were represented with the Gamanche once again as the president of the Ga State Council. You understand what I'm saying? As the president of the Ga State Council. Bona. So once again, like I said, the history is supporting noni the committee affair, and that is why I sincerely believe that was politically engineered to divide us more. And unfortunately, we fell for it. It was politically engineered to divide us more. Now, let me finish it by reading a portion of the lectures. Ni Dr. Josiah Aye, F.A. Of blessed memory, Dr. Josiah Aye, Numale Ejole, one of the industrial sons of Ga, Dr. Josiah Aye, Numbo Ahale Ejole. Now, anima kane inkane F.A. Mahabo. Makane noko bibioko. There is a portion ko. The rise of Ayawaso. No, you know, but there is a point. The second part of these lectures deals with the kingdom of Ayawaso. Although Ayawaso is widely recognized as the first centralized kingdom to emerge on the Gold Coast, its role in the development of modern Ghana culture seems to have been generally under research. Randolph's work has largely documented the extent of Ayawaso and its connections with the early kingdoms of the Gold Coast, but the detailed political history of Ayawaso as well as the social and economic systems which underpinned Ayawaso culture have barely engaged the attention of historians. So it was writing about, it came from me, but Jane now, Nakagana be a man and she paid my join your friend, but okay, no, let me go back. Now, under King Ayikushi and his son Ayite, the Ga dynasty, organized around key Gamashi quarters, started to assert its authority across the Accra plains, exploiting well-defined Ga-Dangme social arrangements to ensure solidarity amongst scattered subjects and to maintain authority. It has been suggested that the Ga dynasty had a prince with a few bodyguards who had commissioned to rule over the chiefs or achims in the interior. Let's go on again. Although the connection between the Ga dynasty and the ruler of the interior is not defined, there is ample evidence, particularly in the royal names of Ofori, Ankama, Ayikuma, etc., which are common to the Ga and Achim royal households, to suggest a blood connection between the Ga and Achim rulers. Ayite is said to have me skip it because there is a portion koni mitani makandi mahaboni Dr. Aye a touch on from the hilltop capital at Okankwe near present-day Ayawaso. The Ga monarchs kept a watchful eye over their kingdom and consolidated their hold over the trade in gold, establishing considerable influence over people in the periphery of their domain. A large military force was developed to deal with upheavals and ensure tranquility within the kingdom. Dapa reported that the king of Accra had 15 to 16,000 men at his command in time of war. Equally, Roma commented that the king of Accra had many thousand archers, assegai, or spearmen and swordmen. Each of his 80 generals carried a gun with 10 charges of gunpowder and bullets. The army was supported by a thriving guild of blacksmiths, as well as traders, merchants, farmers, salt makers, and fishermen. Aside from a standing professional army, all able-bodied persons were drafted into serving during times of war. Munitions and military assistance were regularly obtained from European merchants, and vassal states sent their princes to the king's court to be educated in the arts of warfare and statesmanship. Manvik, the last time we were the first to establish a chieftaincy college. War aba wo ni abakasio boni ayo manche. All right. Further, clearly the military organization of the Ga was fairly more complex than could be found among contemporary peoples. It was based on a system of regimentation that drew on the house, way, and what. Okay, let's go on. Let's go ahead. The territory of the king of Accra was divided into two basic units, corresponding roughly with the plains of the east and west of Okankwe. The eastern plains of Bokana were well known for the pottery of Shai and the animal husbandry of the Ningo and Pampram coastal lands. So kake king of Accra ona any stretch or ton. Once again, Dr. Josiah Aye, a research. So catch the king of Accra. So if we're really gonna dig into history, the king of Accra is shipon a da. Man on a call a da. A watoman people. If I exceed, if we are really gonna go back to history. Now let's go on. This is one point from Dr. Josiah Aye, excuse me, a lecture said. The western plains of Jorna Valley side after the Densu Depression were largely settled and worked by agrarian farmers of Awutu and Ewutu origin. The king's territory was subdivided into the coastlands of the south and hunting lands to the north. The first family known to have occupied the coastal strip of Accra was that of Lakote Aduawushi. Again, Lakote Aduawushi being represented live in this research. Ni Dr. Josiah Ayefi. Towns and their households were organized along well-defined principles under which each citizen could be identified through an alternative generational naming system in which each individual's name is coded to reveal not only the town and quarter from which he or she originated, but also his or her position within the family. We are a blessed and peculiar people. If only we can get our stuff together. If only we can fix this. If we can sort our differences out. Like I said, we are a blessed people. We are the only people nika achogbe aleshia minoje. Je akucho mino aleshia minoje. Okay. So this is one part. Let me go to the other part. Okay. I'm a kind. Okay. To organize the Ga into a strong nation, Ayikushi needed to establish a powerful core group of powerful leaders who felt sufficiently loyal to their forebears as to defend its honor at all times. Ayikushi also realized the value of peace and political stability as the basis for all social progress. To this end, he embarked on a series of brilliant military campaigns which drove a number of peoples, including the Le and Cherepon tribes, to the interior. He also instituted a number of commandments now incorporated into the baptismal or Kojiemo blessings of all Ga infants. Central to the laws surrounding Ayikushi are what are generally regarded as the 7 commandments of Ayikushi. Legend records that the commandments of Ayikushi were given to the guarded tribal elders of Kushibiete or Legon Hill of knowledge. Ayikushi's 7 commandments were for the members of the group to love and to cherish the commandments of their fathers, to obey the will of the deity at all times, to show extraordinary self-sacrifice for the group, also to show sacrifice as a lifelong duty to one's children, not to steal, not to lie, and to be utterly truthful and pure in all one's activities. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt thou shalt not lie, thou shalt. The commandments appear to have risen out of Ayikushi's concern to preserve the religious purity. So what do we? The commandments appear to have risen out of Ayikushi's concern to preserve the religious purity of the Ga-Dangme. Once again, Ga-Dangme. The fight for religious purity was ultimately to lead to the expulsion of the major religionists to the coastal strip, where a hard stratum of Aboriginal Ga-Dangme religion was ultimately mixed with the nature gods, exemplified by Nai, Sakumo, etc., and by the organic antics of the Akon cult and other fetish religions. At Legon, Ayikushi is also said to have bound the Ga leaders and their peoples by a sacred covenant. The leaders pledged themselves and their descendants to perpetual loyalty to the ruling house. Are you an entire Ga-Dangme kingdom pledging perpetual loyalty to the ruling house. So many me attaching akan kita ye legon. Ayi kushi biami. This loyalty and allegiance to the Gastule akan kita ye ayi kushi bia eche ye mene. Now, in return, the rulers vowed to rule justly according to the precepts of the religion of their ancestors and to defend the interest of the Ga-Dangme at all times. Once again, I can't Ga-Dangme. They are talking about the king of Accra. The king of Accra, the entire Ga-Dangme, all the way to Little Popo. Now, in recognition of this covenant, Ayikushi decreed that both his remains and those of the assembled Ga-Dangme leaders, once again, assembled Ga-Dangme leaders, including Obutu and Awutu leaders, were to be interred on Okankwe Hill, which was to be a symbol of the perpetual unity of the people of the southeastern coast of the Gold Coast. Part of King Ayikushi's duties as Supreme Lord of the Ga-Dangme was to occasionally sit in judgment over disputes between the various subjects. He appeared to have delegated part of his job to leading priests and other influential people, thus developed the customs of holding court and public arguments under trees in the courtyard's priest. Sakumo Choshishi. So Benyana, Sakumo Choshishi, Ayosani again, and Osama Choshishi in the present Bese quarter, being well known examples. Ayikushi's judgment laid down the various rules which were the ethnic cohesion of his people. For instance, his precept that patrilineality is the defining principle of Ga-Dangme citizenship has generally been observed to this day. For assimilated peoples such as the Akwamu, many of whom were married to Ga-Dangme women, matrilineality, emphasizing the Ga-Dangme female blood, became all important. After the political leaders had departed, Ayikushi invoked the name of the Almighty in the manners of his ancestors and made a covenant with the leaders of the quarters and the households amid scenes of thunder and lightning. The peak of Legon Hill is said to belch sulphurous smoke as the old king called on the name of his ancestral god. Before the assembled masses of Ga-Dangme, Awutu, and Obutu peoples, the king is said to have prayed, poured water on the ground, and asked the Almighty to bless and set his people aside to be an example of piety to other peoples. Ayikushi is believed to have retired to the coast strip and died shortly after gathering the people on Legon Hill. His remains were, as he had declared, buried on Okankwe Hill. So the history, as was reported, can we be J Anukwalini? You understand what I'm saying? J Anukwalini. It is not true. So, like I said, J Anukwalini. Some other time, I think I'll just come one back. What kind of Dr. Josiah Aye lectures? But we have a long. I think we should do that. Maybe one day next week, right? What do you guys think? Maybe he captured a lot of stuff. So you know what, Jenna? Let me bring once again. I appreciate every single one of you. We have 61 people watching at this time. A lot of you, 41 likes. Thank you so much. God bless every single one of you. I appreciate you. Let me bring my brothers and my sisters on the line, and let's see if we all can have a word or two. They can have a word or two. Me in UAP. Koni wakewani femo abana gbengmene keke be konklonwe woba channel. All right, back up. Manye wa, imo she agbebode ona manye. Manye pago no mi naga agbebode. Hey, this is anyways. Yes. Yeah, we are touching. Yes, yeah. Oshimba, what the moment?
Ate.
Chata, achena ami. Nojin.
Yeah. Yeah, pano.
Oya ekpano, oja ekpano.
Eshe. No feel the dane on that mugo film mugo ni ngene mbe try na me febe. Ni amafata wa ekani fe bone on da me family. Agwena nwe cheme kenye me ni ngene mbe try na me febe ke ni fe bone on da me shin. Ode mi shi agwen lume ni amafata wa ekani tune ken tune on fe on da me shin. Fie me ake agwena bohuna kanon awenye me ke inye me ni kenche me fe ni yo panel no amehu minda machine if you make gan share ko ni neke ni kase mu sani wo fi wa because me pile ga be ni gashika mo yo ha odugbanda ni wa share ni wo share ni e bala ke shi me ni mene me twa na me tela try chukua no amelia ke shi me pile le ke ma je no ne me da gbe ke gbe na ba me ke share e futu wagari no noni ngene onabe ni okane no oglamlin ke chon ke awie aba gamanche hiwaleni gamanche yo wani wale hu ageshin ka awie aba king ni the Gun State awie aba manchekobe onu mi ngene me twa ne wonnam fiam ka te hye bia ne a okine e aka overlord ni muji ni anagba ona ni anukwali ye ni wojin yehi ni yodase ageshin anukwali ye disene nake ona video ko ni gbegene mi de gbe Joshua Alabi
Ntwa keje shishi je
o tona ona ni ya enwena age legimoni legimoni ete ni amugi je ni ya igala awie ni hani ngene ngbe twa ne leke onyeme de osu la teshin nungba ketomanke ya amena paramount bia ne nwena ora be you otomo achieve noko onumishi go enwena ora shi anukwali ye ora be ni anukwali ye ni go film ko ni go oto ngene ngbe twa ne mo film ka gbena mo film be share ni sani anani kanimo anani kasebo na be dinga shi yo hodu na wa share na share ni kama go tashi e ko ne yue no ko ne yue je na kani then you have to call the person to order no pi yo ko be o gbra mi mo fe mo nu ta fa che mo fe mo go ni botu ye mo fe mo na be dinga shi kama yo hodu gban agese ka awie aba gamanche lepe mo fe mo go chief jibo odu mi shi mo fe mo go chief jibo nege osune the actual word is husu.
Okay.
Husu ni. Husu. No, nani.
I'm spelling it right.
It's husu. What do you mean? And as usual, before me corrupt le I'm tell osu. It's husu. What I know they actually do na ngale. Husu ni ayo ba demarcation.
That's right.
Demarcation. Husu. What I mean is no nagaji the original yomo alo gwe de ke ha osu mene me tan wacho like
right
no history nigga are you history then you have to go back to the Presbyterian church the Basil I'm osu niami odu mi se ke moko ni yo osu na ebo to mene me tan amele ke no ne all I mean is very osu aba so who should you yomo ni Presbyterian church they have something to do with it. What do you mean? Because you are about copy usadi. I mean, the
right.
What do you mean? Yeah. When go be na.
Yeah. Nak, kage king of Accra, Dangme fitai. Ga-Dangme fe. The king of Accra stretch all the way. Dangme fe fitai. Kewa Yuelo Juba historically, yes. Ayabache. Yeah.
Donc, Beno how dark down with Chonjo guy. And Chemeke mean by the friend in the money. And J. Much you could chop. Yeah, get. Na J.A.K. Okane follow she Okachoni, Bemeunye, you follow. Ni amena akashi lele history ko kashini ta flat ya ko ta keni ate modin kwa olumi wo ne kan bi mo jine fe kama shiomo ni wo teme pie ona ko wa kane no bale ni ta flat ya agba wo teme piu ka agba on be pie agba anu kwale sha agba no ni ngo ni dibalo agba wo no ni ngo le na wo ya ni wo pese pi Okuni in your say be Wulu and Okane from the National House here pertaining to be Paul Monsiena when you make me Gami. You say Agashi every point now Agashi we found there. There was nothing to back up what they found.
Right.
They because Mawulu or Saito.
That's right.
You know, now information keje. Ni ba fi na kan no say. She na kan ni Wulu na ma. We found this fence angma kashi we found based on this. Although we found this from this information, from this historic book, from this historic case. Nothing of that sort back or none of found it up. It was near fifth morning. It was lazy work. Shonagashi agenda ni. It was be kagma angma kuna cafe case. Nije no kuni the act amadmon kuhina magbula mi echon. Ake no kuni sani anukwa na kan wolu na menwa sani kwen anya bia messaging wa. Ona. She if any to money be I'm one already. Or be angma no ko kuni ake justify. There's nothing of substance ni justifies none of me find it.
Right.
Ona. She at the end of the day, that when you are this is a profound opportunity. Ga-Dangme not only to right some wrongs there, but to chart a new course. Nyemejiwo. At the end, nakana ni se wo femu nu shaka nyemejiwo. Ni no ni me kuma you aka o we more page no ni feel wo nyeme. Disturbing wa because wasuke banfe ke ko ukwe game onaka ko na mene na eje la eje teshi eje nwa eje machine mi eje pon e fa na eje onaka mene ganyojile e wo je wo we mo pe chon wo nyeme shi nyemeji wo lele wo je ko kaba wo apeshi shi wo nyemeji wo wo na ga ni se ni gam ke dangbe fe anu na ka ni shishi wo agbene ko nyemi ni mini he apelio mini he apelio wana shishi no moye wo tia gashi nyemeji wo won fe won ta ono ya ke hwele mo e wo no afi wo motivating factors akashi won ta ono ya ni won na akashi ni mo mi egbon ai wo o ya no e court here too o say 5. We are marching in place, essentially. Ewo wona shiri mo akashi wonta e komefi wonta no ya wona shiri wonta kira wo bi ka wona bi ni ba. Kumo ke team sport na trapo. Ni mokome esafi mo fe mo. France Jordan Popa when they final say a pass ball am ko need a shoot more make them win championship because mo fair what be a fair ye what fair we in here ken e what pia mo ni ko ne ko me fe mo aba no you anu kwale no duty o ya anu kwale the flight. What me ba ne kura mba ton yegbeko no. E twa ke water na kan tomo no. Nike ka yo nyami hwie hu.
That's right.
Ka hihie onyami. Kenu ko no nyami nye no ta we ko. Bile. Ka je se no wa heyed. Alo a show yes. Nibi kumeni mina like they are very simple. She hekon a war and nible a war. Won fini nisa ni wo kan shi onyeme. Mo kan feature. She esha no fi omene no jo ake bo o yemoko in walo o fi no no na le wo se e ba telo na bi. E wo na ni famomo.
Right.
Ye ni bi na e. Kuni wo se wo bi ko na bi akahwa wo. Eni kema bina to da bini yo to bino kan ye wolu emi mi ke abanina mo komeke wo kupe shikanshona yo ka ba fana ni na kaile na bi ejomo ndaji famu ehin yo ngwa bi en wochano
Ishe. Thank you so much. Mawa, ufano ejeme. Mawa very ready. Mawa na patient. Yeah, me 1 second. Mintao no go ninke chonye. But anyways, nyani mafia call. Okay, there are two people now me texting me ake ame ba somoni ame jui. So nyani ma twa ame koni what bote ami. Hello, Nje. Ufano oja kwano.
Oh, ni tete. You are don okay. Sumo papa no ochun. Nga tu ebolo efen.
That's right.
But le gana do ba kan ngbenele. Ezani ne ajegbe anna website ko ni post ne me awu website e no de ba. Ko ni ito me anna. Ona na eni ga egbe.
That's right.
Ke ni egbe ona aye. What me beni acho wo manchekin mi asante bako.
Dabi.
Meneke wa meko e ke wo mu abayi wo yo. Wo blame am wanche. Wo beni nyami no e ba wie e. Ke ani ble ke nkomi mpa. Ke chake ni bi. Ni esani wo generation ne wo correct ni bi. But when we ke oton no eton akeshi o ya no no ton.
Dabi.
Bulu pe chake edwemo. Wo ka wo fe mistakes ko mani bia na wo ba che ni wo na ke dabi mistakes ya no wo fe divide wo na e weak wo. Sani wo domoshi. Tomo beni cheme domoshi te de blame.
That's right.
No ni wo ba nye wo ko wo mama papa ni wo bu. Ni waka di personality said. Ni wo ke fite gatro ni.
That's right. That's right.
No wada ne ke ba ko ke wie mi yu ake ni allegiance say eye ke hatro na ge personality e no. Because God did money cannot say fair mistake.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, oba ngani bi kome lo oba yeni bi kome. Ni what's a go?
Yeah. That's
It's a problem, Baba.
right.
Can quality actually done.
That's right.
And quality ya for favor and you. Against one Jew. Mujian quality.
Nakai.
Yeah, program no of it. What I really akashi to put your ganto wa ekome ye ganchi poni. She game koshika na meke. No you adode ni sa shiponche me isana ke buame. What we are no quality what ka ke game di wo e wo.
That's right.
No you one blood on je wo no aba wo one for ni wo bakpa mancheme fai nwa mancheme keshi mancheme ame fe amele ame kanu na me fe o ma mancheme ke nye fe nyele no ni jan kwale wo ame fo no na me fe o ko ni watashi mo ko ni no ni etoton ko ni wajade ko ni watashi ni waka ke okay one mun shire ga mancheji wo fe wo supreme ti mo we mene ke e balake wo fe wo bot le kutu ni wo pe Sani le gamanche no ebana bokotomo otinto ake manklalu. E kala ka bekole osumanche aba fe manklalu.
That's right. That's right.
Woni ekole tema mancheun ana le kegbena. Niteshi mancheun ana le kegbena.
Nakai.
E wote atrashi. Ye lakan le no. Je otinto oji manklalu.
Dabi.
Je ni gbese di adontin.
That's right.
Kawo ba machine miele no le abayi am position say
that is actually the right way to go. Anybody be a
Loco Benny J. Fable Fee. Kingdoms in one more now feel that you are film on our fee.
That's right.
They were one what dispensation they could touch in the work yale. Of any one amending the be couldn't adjust the
Nakai.
When you suit you.
Nakai.
Tony Coca Hichapa. Keke sumo keko be filimo. Because ke wako like na manje tashi ni tafla che eho che fe man klalo ke I don't think any be fe machine me me what kun shishilaka.
Yeah.
I mean we should call it spade a spade.
Yeah, that is true.
Ona e wo what be you about che what chawo say to me.
Yes.
What cafe to social media what cafe no the media about cover.
Yeah, and that is why it was a serious mistake. No, I'm afraid in 2023. They did that without speaking to the. I mean, you cannot do that. You cannot.
What correcting?
Yes.
What kind of mistake? What continue with the mistake? What correcting? 2025. Hello, 2026. What correct like a mistake? Can work for them. What you about creative? No koklo afata itomo beninto man klalu benanjo said benanjo enek benanjo be what creative the care he boy ne fam na eko the kabo man gamanche o tashie o min free
nakai pepe
on pafai
nakai
manche ma meka kone wo fe wo ba wo henchi Only one year warfare. She come and frame minji. Nagbane money that say no ake manche. Then he sikula a jacket o canning male. A cap money tani left agbo. Yet when manche yeli me less and afraid he beke. Jay no woman akabafi.
Yep.
Okay, he no woman or no fee.
Dabi.
No bad boy in Shibble. Na bada na jole yemwe. Nyeme any worship me. You have a book to me.
Nakai.
You walk when you about faith. You were my I got no jail boy, no new about yellow, yea, no new about she can hide no be come. When they come checking Takita, you are blame. I'll no to money to no check my chemicome. I'll legacies name machine. The many machine legacy, Papa, who I mean, who is fixed for them?
Yeah.
It was Tenoniji was you. Cabo di Teshi Manche, Waka Ope, Mina Bawi Katonhi. Cabo di Numa Manche, Waka Obe, also when I Yakabo, but of confusion at Bagam, look. Wonka fight. No, what we dear Mokumeju or Nemo. To dream of Bemukomeju.
Dabi.
Ni Onyoka, come minute. Come minute go Beheko. Ekolo abule bibi oshi no ni to emi nka yu okeba de solo wo won pa fai any gan show wo fe ko me ni wo ba mo wo here any ni me fe ka for show mo many try me aka me di kings ye gani lege ka king ameka seka de wo de na me ka fe ame no yi ni wo mo ni wo di no che me lenche wo mo wo komo wo hi nye wo we no ko aka gina yele ni ba gina yele akwamu ke bi enabi e wo fa se ne be ka se gala wo le yele nko ke e wo fa se
Dabi.
mene ni bi no kan ni ko ante leke akwamu me ke leke me ne fe da manche yele e yi ame fe ame no da no ka te vota mene debo mai
Dabi.
wolo play ma wolo boni wo won pa wo nye me fa me ni ta choku na fe ame ba me sha me pa me musu
That's right.
Ona be ni yo
That's right. That's right.
What we are kwale
Nakai.
ni what say ko wo ka toto ni no bi ana
Ishe.
I know me ni aba
Yow. Oi radoni. Aninke onemu atpo. Now, fast forward to 1729. Fast forward to 1729. Let me show you this. I don't know. I can you tell me na omo. So what can they be an what 1729? Ball, you know what can they 1400s be an what and this is a map of 1729. Now, come on, a map of the Gold Coast from by April 1729. I'ma zoom out. So even by 1729, Great Accra, come on. This is the Accra's, come on. But now, Ningo pe no banake by 1729, but you can say ake Ga-Dangme be when you Ga-Dangme be agbene separation bale ojugbang. So ona Ningo yebie she ke ake come on Great Accra come on. Now I don't know this means that. Maybe that's the map. She onaka Accra fe kome. So abu le fe kome dani abu dangbe shikon e kome. This was in 1729. This map is from 1729. Bona. So even as of 1729, Abu Accra fe kome. Because ningwe je kwe makayake be Abu dangbe unfe femini e kome. Because onage ningo e je kwe be. But this is Great Accra. You can see it here. So all the towns are here, and it's under one. Bona. I'm not saying this is just a cursory explanation of what we are reading. But it may not be so. But mean no nanoko no nke map na chonboy. Me akomi unke eba yue ke gbena woke nak baba bano. Nak baswoni e share a thoughts. Look how boy kwenye mie tui. Let's get the Nungwa perspective. You know me, Bami.
yo I don't
Yeah.
Yeah, neke no reason on like I discuss it. It can make people like us and any invoke like their emotions. Yes. She not like this baby come
That's right.
Yeah. Damashi bi ane. Ame ye kome. Ame manye nyelo kome. ni takite eko chulo ke tatolete
Nyada malache.
she at least say we say akangaje tatolete asire and to damache.
That's right.
She ani wobi wo ya keshi no denche ani eso abi inti ni oje melo eso biko
Dabi.
secondly tatolete I greater results of chips nínú pọlẹ leadership àwọn a rotator eje mene eje bi ewo e ya bi ni Greater Accra mache mo nupa ife finance be yesishi and in no enye solve problems we fair one week egbe nko no
Dabi.
most of the time shows no fear or criticize am which you are justified because yes ani Sane be 20 years 10 years 15 years na much men so ni tadi me Jamaica me be ona no what be wa kishi work like Damashi say and what on apele that overlordship the margin fair already bibi any opponent here anye ko wana anu ni ayana fe ko many akewo mo shi how will it work?
Yeah, you have a point.
You go home at fair to here. You if it's anya menoke mo shi. Let me say this. It's post packaging from Geno Kani or Kola Kwashna, you know, Nakaini. In my queen of me, my dear Fake, done with Faye, Gamanche, Shishi. She will be a time of fate, me at Shishi. Because so Okani was in Kunkume, Kowash was show about Uncle. Can they connect she tributary states? Ni make protection can imagine baby any bankele. Be connect. She when offer na can protest them. No, it should be for different purpose. Any debate or may share up to mesh. No feeling. There should be purpose. European Union.
Right.
Was a purpose. But any trade the trading between partner states.
Easy, right?
Transportation, net and getting the Navy. That leave your easy. With regionals of cheap, we can achieve what we want to achieve. Much Baba, not take position. The warfare will defend. Jim, what is your anacona? Jega pay,
right?
She no go any tuning. You are already a player in there. But you can play on the pile.
Right.
Like, but no poor honor, money of few people. Get all few people to ban in fellow Yano to bear. And actually, this better. Lead with section or exceptional leadership.
Right.
Only associate.
That's right.
So you know any branding new Japan at the same time when offer so much for many years. On government no Gamashe de Ekuna. All the so party.
Right.
Labor share test. Share if you're any push aside me.
And she show nagaga one you manche and college show nagaga one you naga nungwa ba shefe she ke bale manche yelia nungwa say is actually one of the latest ones now.
Last ones.
Exactly. So wafe wanu shishi age babu as wulo mo le yes. You understand? But can when you mancha yes and then nungwa say one of the nagbe no kla.
Yes, one of the last to accept.
That's right.
Yeah, no, you are perfectly right. Me Gamashi am a difference. Soon you mancha podani like all they said yes.
Right.
See, okay, Jane Chakio.
Right.
Fair error, problems, challenges not face so. Me go near one year, much if me put me over here. She was a quick, can one be no one. So one of the nice way, you want a military, can you be defend what you really like me. Come if you want to say, or see.
That's right.
Or be a walk away, no, don't try to try to know, don't play. Nibi ne ani mabia anna roya.
Right.
Schools. Economic credits power.
Right.
For relationship with unrun other institutions many man.
Right.
Well, a 4K of I information with which house of Chief Kedi and yet a strengthenly. Many of them make sure I'm informed of guidelines, legal Jimmy. On many time a guy is a chama.
That's right.
That's right. At 10 years, 20 years. Canada
That's right.
Spiritual proceeded to Monaipo and play. It's about locally.
That's right.
And locally, this is kind of we get how much my dear friend. I know, it's a very good idea.
That's right.
Good idea.
That's right.
We don't need another Supreme Overlordship alone. Many are about the face about title.
Right.
International Mitoni, private, and local restore, Gamashi Park, Gamashi Piche,
Right.
It shouldn't be called that for many or people on the big place. Actually, you can walk like a book, no, very Gamashi. Oh, you're negotiation, or Chile. The Soviet Union.
Right.
Yugoslavia, what's as a book? Russia, HB, that's like the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia. If I make me,
right.
Russia, Ukraine, but countries, I'm not a Soviet Union enemy.
Right. Right.
Honor,
that's right. That's right.
For your negotiation, because no doubt only one part of it.
Nakai.
Much maybe what you only be a potential. The mayor, most of the times, they run it by themselves. They are allegiance to each other in terms of war, can it be coming? And then they can never pay allegiance to
right.
See, maybe a jacket. See, coming from all is supporting.
That's right. That's right. That's right. By force. That's right. Got you. Got you.
Yes,
well said. Well said.
With purpose.
Nakai. 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 That's right. That's right. That's right. Ishe. Thank you so much, Agili. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. All right. Right. So that was a brilliant submission. When you mean no how much you behave? Knock. Over no giant pano.
Mingam Temo. Charlie Sanya, why? Still okay, so, Anukwale, when you mean you be there, in fact, in Kelepa, be a CCJ, you more in common way. Tafate, if you make no general word to war, honestly. Chini, a Agbina, where it surprised me with Porsche and Sene, Choni, taflache ko yim ko shishia ho wanyeni bohu o separate from the money o ko ni bia no yes ano kwale ni AFI majimpino na even abrotigbe kedi bi fe na kai
yeah
shi o ba bio ya keshin ko separate ani ba wabulu ani ni wo separate wo here wawo ke wo ya le ten. Okay, there's another way nika o separate ne ba nye balake show even though nje ejeme taji na sane ye ba wami alo ka nyi na sane o ba nye wo ba wanye ora ni bi ne me ni sanu wo kwe
right
because we learn no kan here is about Ga-Dangme ora bi jo no o toni o ke wojomaya back to history ni wana boni shikamo yo ha kaji mene poni wo hin egbele chon lele hin egbele mo ba ni efe to ma gbene wo hin egbele too much ni woke even though woke sa ni bi woke fite ni bi lewu shinani wo ba ko eji ani kaji wo fe ne ke e ba wa wo lo ke e ba wa wo ni wo fe ele san ko kra be pe wa wo isa ni wo fe ora no ni wa wo cafe that's all isa ni e fe no
okay Isha. I mean, all right, my job, Radon. Now what try Uncle Sam keke wake when you famo eba na be Jedna min that you wa nyefenya shikpe mene Uncle Sam boy Uncle Sam be young trouble phone no let's see, let's call Uncle Sam. Hello, Uncle Sam. Over no jai man. How are you?
Menga mo pia mo ne member nyando manje.
Manya blawo.
Okay. Over mabi yo mo enyo kuma pezani majo yo mo shi. Mencho nya pana many yo panel no okay mo fia mo ne boto bia ne. Hello.
Over there no Uncle Sam. I know TV abashi. Why you get your phone there?
Oh, sorry. Over.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe my family many in your line no be anton that question. Ani mokole go wait for a chief low. And like I say a man king mancha. See the go wait for a chief mokole low. Come on, me makale fa ni hani wale. Ya ke nando ane nem ile na kasi aji. Ekola tambani wa ye king ya king komite. Ne many ya se they are chiefs. She know about where no use of chief wa me fe am use of me ya they are all kings. Now one kings be. Ni se kwa je kings ji. E ya ke king komite ayo. Macha yo manano ho ne nke container kaya regional house of chiefs. Regional house of chiefs. We should have a regional house of chiefs. Even many regional house of chiefs appear. Come a regional house of chiefs and I'm about out to pay a mention of kings. J chief jam doing. She should have another regional house of chiefs that should be headed by a king. That's by right. The king. Yep. She made well many word ganyok na kake ha chiefs. Gan word na chiefs gan word ne. That's right. Chiefs. She I'm choma America. Now when I'm king say instead of one king. Your mother have when I nka jakasin. If you na jakasin she what I can no mokoni ga nka what I ga mejo. Maybe I got money osu eke ya manager labadi. I can me I am a different person. Ne when you can the all the non unite or page the word ga.
That's right.
Kan no mokonija osu jo. Kashi jo nungwa jo labadi jo. Kan you ga pen no page non unite or.
No. Yep. It's the tongue. Yeah.
Agana woboy me injausu injalabadi No, what kind of can you know? I you why are to say when why about to work with Jano to Bawa, suggestions, a few suggestions be no me suggestion Baba, none here, me about come a few suggestions and I call on him, cannot here, I can no mancha woman a chop problem na tama ban mo ko ke what road says le kan mana wo mancha gamashin wo abo gamancha tashin next time I will mancha janungwa and next time mancha jalabadi alosu kuni what rate to le kuni kat no ka hijola baba ni chata baba ni ye suggestion share la no suggestions kuna pick no me ne ka ayata regional house of chiefs regional house of kings regional house of chiefs
that's right
kuni kine ehede tawanyaba
yeah thank you so much Uncle Sam Bechame ingama anya back kenkle okay nak over ne bote momi be onugwa che
Induwe Duba. Okay, so Bia Keshin Kake Chief Teshishi gambling.
Right.
Anukwale Enuku Chief ye gambling. Ake there's a word in particular. She Kemi Nkaba Gami Onupa.
Okay.
Onupa. That's all. Because Ke Wakemba Blofoma Te Lunuku Kake Chief Onupa ni. Okay, what chief in it? That means a legi war lupa.
Yeah.
What I've been in charge. No, Nakamakele, Shkamuko ye ga. You meet your here, Gayumo, Meli Bonacho,
right.
If I never cho. I've been ni there's something in your intro me, ni you could da. Ne we remind me. Regional House of Chiefs say. Ye Benjamin, he's only your Jemmy Mali.
Nakai.
What be regional house of Queens?
Dabi.
Good. She were manyeme. Secondly, me no wo manyeme nwe. Ame yegbe koko shame no le queen. Born a bit because they were kings, were chiefs. She manyeme le mofiamo le queen. So that's right.
That's right.
And like I said, instead of me here about faith, can you faith chief? Come on, me faith madam lo. So this one queen. Because yawa. See, anu kwale yo momli ye. Wa ye manyemen. Otin ni makakeshin ameni fe moni ke ni bi fe tomo. Chiefs, I mean, take responsibilities. Nisani, I'm a regional house.
Right.
Bona. Bona feni, I'm a decision.
Right.
Now, I'm a true Ojuba. Because in like a regional house of chiefs, and quality no one reading in Kenya with me. In kayak and ye tell me.
Come be occasion kuni boli. I made your hair. Yeah, she I'm a Benjamin to Mobeno. Yeah, no, you are right. Yes.
Okay. This thing for I don't know how many years. Ni I'm John Bako no. Ni kwesana kwa jeme hu. Anyway, what me no keka se ni.
That's right.
Kema amabo tuwe akwe. Ni no atuwe ni. Keke wana ke shi wo ye. He said I'm
right.
Because where ye pi ni jomona me ye ke ni le na me ye ke shikana me ye. If he come.
That's right.
What I been so akojeme no be chief say allo chief me onupa ni in the machele ye gam yaka onupa.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. Ishe antivik ke ni gamanche se kwoloji la manche so boni e yo le chuchu e ke gamanche be la manche ji moni kwese so tumoboni wanyemi e ko wie wo ba anye other position se le nwe aja ni antivik ke gbese manche le e ko gamanche se ye gamashipe shike afe gastete ka afe gastete no ele la mancheji moni ko gamanchese so mean yake vice president the prime minister so and I think yake based on that obanye naka so be ni wanyemi akoyo so na mo ba fi akwashonche na ba
ni la anyway na kan yue mo
okay
ni la anyway na kan ni it's very very very
yes
interesting like we should look at it because a breakdown position
I'm on position that's right
that's right no kaji na ka ba ya le shubo ya ka fine
yeah ona like I said ba na ke template e kan yomo e hwe wo keke ni wo ba akoke ya because kaji na and I'm not well manvik I mean manchema big manchema na big ya me so I'm afo ama wo so manvik nke wa ke gamanche be ka fe gan state na kanji bo ne yo leche la manche ko ese ni twage na kan all the other positions say fail enwe na kan ka fail official ka je be na kan mo na fail official I mean this can be done ni anyways abache anyways mawa me no na ko de kan kula ona anyways chameka nyeme mi ndaje feshi nye yiwala don woke
ofane magre no ko me
ofane ya no
chameka wolu no kan ye ile no na ye she get be online it's very easy akabanya ko online
yeah it's online it's actually online wolu aji history of the Gold Coast and Ashanti Carl Christian Randolph. So Amazon. Amazon. Hello Google. If you know your will, if you know your will, yes.
No problem.
Yeah. So history of the Gold Coast and Ashanti. I think I can go be a chat session. So na can be come Amazon ni kaya available obaneko so that's what it is. Right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Chemega nyeme min danye fenshi nye wala don wa denche. What Friday vibes? You already know. Wole boli. No any serious we'll just have fun with whatever the topics are. But now I'm gonna Saturday story any fair Saturday work obla you any a record like a story manye ne the neighboring town ni any warfare wale no ni ya no ye na kan me popa no wakale ba fe show ye bi bona so koni how details say ojuba the story behind it. So show and about feel okay manye ni yo je me ba feel agbene we Sunday about feel show Sunday what final week for the year ne Sunday about feel show for with Niamokpa wakele ba feel show be a Sunday ona ni bi piete no ya gbogbolo hie wakele gba ko Sunday ye wakele baba ni bi piete no ona ni alomo ke ni bi lomo mo ya te ke ni bi no je me fe so wakele ba wo adekami wo ba bi le Sunday ye Sunday. So Saturday work manye ni ani wofen wona ne ke Sunday ne wakele baba eke ogba wake niama okpeba. Once again be reminded that this coming week will be our final week for the year 2025. What breaky obaba be January 1st. Again what face show komeko peke what's our be in 2 weeks time. But so what buy a long break about 4 weeks. Oba face show 1 or 2 times go in between like 4 weeks break any wabaya. So wanda mo famoshi manvik ni the structures are there but we are not following it. Nak over yano.
Ni tete
papa
min pa bo fa aka min ba mi da no bina ni min bubutu ni owe show no ba fake obla yo ni ke video ba oyo mo mi try keshi le record but Kevin video ina la ke le record
mo okay
ina la record no le voice over
that's
yes.
That's right
that's
right thank you yes so obla oyra don anyami so obla you any one way egbe recording there me wakale ba fe show bona wakale ba fe show Saturday. So Man Rose, we cannot have an overlord and all other office holders from the same area. Man Rose, I completely agree with you. If this thing is going to work, nakano is an GME. Ni Manvik ani what na wale poke nakangbejiano to a kashomo Manvik ni the structures are there, but we are not following it. So Manvik ani what na wale ake chuchue kegamanchebe la mancheji moni yo so the structures are there. And the position in La Manche yo ale position in Nungwa Mancheyo, ale position in Teshi Mancheyo. If only we can go back to that old time religion, I think will be okay. But Man Rose, I completely agree with you. We cannot have no feno ya one quarter. Ekole blame ko na ke yo. She be ane sani chake moaba. Bona boninchon. No matter what the book or history says, there has been so many changes, huge population growth. I don't think we need any overlord for Ghana. We are in a new era and we don't need any overlord. Thank you so much. Now, Ben, do we need paramounts? That's another thing. Papa.
Wale, imeamu naga wafio chonye.
Wafio chonye wana.
She no she we moje na UFM.
That's right. Yeah.
No me ashi oche ba UFM. Aba chema fe mi mo fe mo. Mi mbo fe tu.
That's right.
To bonu wonye me yo ni no ni ke problem e fe ba di. Watchman be ane ni I'm a great grand treasure counselor. I'm a loan of Fiano, table one side. Ne fear, near fair fee. Gamami. Unipa na you fair fee gamami because ka ukwe asafache gamami ulache gamam neke gamami. Near to if you to more ajia me fair ye near me.
That's right.
Because kadia ya na ni aha gamancha invitation ni ya ni lela ke ayanu kwale na atise ke cancel ya sane na mukuni je labad mukuni je teshi mukuni je onumishi ona ni eni wona ga o wola che wo gafe wola che je teshi alo gafe asakwache eje nungwa ona she ya ame kamen me shame na ga shi ajia me ni bi ami ona nika okwe gamanche ya ekwe me ni yese fe me fe de machi mi
yeah
me fe de machi mi ona bi ana ina egbele mumba ni ona ga wonyami nu ekotulu if a big mistake a mistake any fear I don't know agashi ona ga be me kaji owo ba ye gamanche se aye ni bi kumeyi ka ke aye chose mo kumeyi ni akera bu na gbene aye wojin kumeni blanche po ona the value of saying utano onu meshi ona ni because no more that feel will chineke are compete na ka present no ni lower is ona ne ekle apele ne ke no ni lower is ke oda feel will nchi oda feel nchi koda ka point ke je ona ne win le no ne koda ka point ke je she ko esade ba contest na ka ni kra because it's bigger than the position
right.
Papa Ro, I'm a correctable. Fine. Ekele contesti. Le a withdraw crap udani a vote. So call na can letter ba out po. Only she.
And she not. She before he tried to contest him.
He tried, but he didn't contest.
He didn't contest.
He tried, but he didn't contest.
That is right.
She naka nie na fie elowa seke abitua me enyo odumishi una nie elowa naka se because esa naka nie ke po wo mi
right
because it's bigger than that una nie when you una get no that feel when you win naka no e corner ka point tegeje ona nie when naka ni bibi na fe egba Ghana big time egba Ghana big time because a whole gamanche fe no matter how whatever president then try she gamanche ega febo she was wa fe for target bo ya do she no ke win bo no ka take be le ya na be president ne yo po president po e chief ebo Yeah. Because in measure I see beni ni amugi yo a context of e wona kan bi ami. Mancheme ko be na wo we kan bi afa because near Gamachaka automatically you become the president of Ghana Council. So we are president Jibo Poye them automatically. Ukamukwe pele what near. Was going to academics and she and me fair Egbawana. Egbawana. Because no one Egbawana because I may only be a fair cash rabbit no Gamashi me. What near. Will be an effort to more. Mi fumba mo fe mo mi faga be kana ka wo wa je wo mo kana ko wa je wo mo because at the end of the day I make a card in a contract. I make a card in when make a fair contract more egbo ete.
Right.
And they have right to withdraw whatever it is. I make a card in back contract. Yeah, make a sign no go. What I mean? But manche, you have to use the strategy. So no use the good strategy. You okay hold na ke come money obanina. No na fear. What I mean? Shoke kakatichi ba. Ale inme mi egbele mo fe monte eye no. Ona e waka okay kakatichi ba no fe ni to mo mi bijimi to no ni inu mo ni ado to a statement ni anwo na mo eti affect ni BP. E affect ni BP because e hani me heleshi. Ona ni e hani me heleshi ni statement ka o fe sa no le bodo ba fe le ka fe ni to mo men no jinji ameni benta kachi obe ame onu me si ona ni e statement we ka fe sa ni at least all le bodo ba fe le ni me pa na ga o ye we ya come fe mo e da ke we ya come fe mo ka o fe ni to mo be ka ma tele leji be mi me gbe mo e ba o ba ni ma mi afun ona ni e wo ene me fe e gba wona no me fe ni e keneka problem di na fe e ba na ni bia na wo fe so na ke di wo ka cheme ba fe kome a fe kome mi e kaka mi e sko akoble ma sta le mo akoble ma no ni mo fe mo onu mi shi ni e to mo na to ni ke gamanche be no ma manche yo ke ni be bia na shi water de gamanche yo ke gamanche be na mo yo mo ni aba ke yo se e de gamam ngwa le te no le ta he de no ni ngwa ye ta he de
la
no la sorry if I can no ni la here I hear de onu mi shi because kada ayen anukale na be sani ke se ko ni gamanche po ya ko sani wana la manche e de me onu mi shi ni kada manche e je mi definitely mo ko eni nko ese be sani mo represent ona ni she be effect mo they be so great that me lo ni be fake actual me no e de me they know amelia anukale e pepe
yeah
ona ni ka ofre na ka bencha ka automatically auto oye man otomo you are the overload with everybody talking why don't control me.
That's right.
Ona ni that but because of people won work na kan bi enwe wo any me the sake me na ka wa ha me sisi ama oni bi.
That's right.
Ona ni because the love is not there, the trust is not there again.
That's right.
I trust you because I'm a behavior and I'm a fear.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Regional say how many years now you're president? Okay. Seriously? Okay, the next thing might be no problem. You know, just to know. No, I mean, in Lakashi, ayole terms. Equally 2 terms. In Lakashi, every each term, indicated 4 years ago, 2 years or whatever. I don't know. She made reference to National House of Chiefs. In Lakashi, ni Ashanti Manche. Ne ye e 2 terms etan ne na keshi aba vote ni ka automatically ka vote ye ndo ni eje keje National House of Chiefs shishi wana be dey fini and if any ake e powerful than anybody no eje totally no ni togbe afede by year it was not under Togbe Afede. What I believe in.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
What do you say?
No, Tobenu, you are the smartest ni sani Gamanjafe. He got him to a national of chiefs.
Of course, thank you so much, my brother.
Yes,
Thank you, of course.
I think that would be the best because then if it to lower, I look at the machine vote to Nukoni, yeah. If you know your strength and your power, you don't lower yourself there. That's all.
Thank you so much.
I think that's
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Looking at in bush.
All right.
It affect big time.
Okay. All right. Okay. Everyone should take care of their communities. Whoever is looking to be overlord is only looking for money and power. In our time, we don't need overlord. Overlord. It's not Kumasi. Now Beko we get Gamanche should take care of his Gamashi communities. If he wants power, he can go into politics. Man Rose, again, in the past, we only have one chief per town. This is very interesting. Man Rose, point no make. I really like this point. It is something we've been speaking against. When many of your platforms say, no fan, knock, Papa Row, every single one of us. Cheme, we've always been speaking against this very point. Man Rose will make it. Again, in the past, we only have one chief per town. The paramountcies came about because Gamashi elders started installing or calling Akuche Cheme as chiefs. You see, Ni Ayateka stood against it. And this is very true. Hey, ni waliaka welu Akuche Cheme efe. Biane na genjeme efe atoto ame chief. So keji osu manche tashi ni mancheni ni oto Akucho bibioko ya Gamashi ni kokwe okane ni efe. It's only like 2 miles square. Noko bibioko 2 miles ponchechon. Ekome beno bana just like a mile square. Eko akucho chakoni ojele wochele manche. No suve ya manche. Of course, naga bagag no. Onyoche a mile square. Akucho che manche. Ni miumi monimi nkwe whole town we. Ubache mi manche. So Man Rose, you are absolutely correct. I agree with you. Me by Paromano ba. We don't care about history or what the book says. Oh, not 3 more. Bagane logic guy. Man Rose Gamashi started. Okay. Now, wabwa mami tui. Hello, ma. Mami, if I know Jack Mano, mo mbobo tui. Okay.
It's a new meeting.
Okay.
You want to be a man being.
Ovane you, ma. Ovane you. Pako min. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. 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 Gamashi started the problem. I hope we can dive deeper into the creation of this manchame. And this problem. Akuje, briefly, Ovane, Bami. That's right.
No, akwana akwe.
Nakai.
Kaje nakale to bonu wonye mi okowie be mofia mo akwe no mi mo koni be wo my watch me ame Ghana me ko na ba fi na me saga.
Right.
Ekule no banye through a challenge. Ekule no banye through challenge ake mofia mo akwe no mi isa ye no mi.
Ishe. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Man Rose, how many manchame do you need in Gamashi? Oh, Man Rose. Prophet, Kawapa.
Yo, I wonder, we go film. If you want to get something, that could be na onu no go go or mission.
Right.
It's been overwhelming. But family, what I get, what I let I put one day.
Okay.
No wonder cheme French, you may find wonder go film coding many metane enabi. Never fata nipe money. Wonder I'm finishing. I shipe couple he could any be not to try by this time. Ni the fact gun sumo won I walk now to here. They go to the gun to one else. I know what I see that play and what I'm finishing. I do Akashi amena be na mafata we tru na genu tuma na fe agbene bo wona no o fata lo obi ma jo nye panel fe nye me fe ke cheme nye me mo fi amo ni ngene we twa na bi ya fata we ni etu edum me ni twa wona me twa am dum ke aga fe wonder fence wona me twa na o dum shi no fe mi ko be fi mo pe jinu wa fe ni wonyo ko be no wa fe be fi o je yo mo pe se no ko yo mo wa o fe mo mi o dum shi ni fi amo in a small way what you can do to promote Ga-Dangme won an ofe o dum shi anu kwale mi your page na o
Daga eshe.
job
All right. Chemeka nyame nyefenye yiwala don nyumo ajonye wa ade nche minda nyeshi wa ade nche especially when yeme ni yo man say nak oje enya atwa manke 3
244
hey
244 market 244.
That's right. So be that you fish you might judge you
Okay, boy,
all right, Charlie. Well, Baba be thank you so much. Well, Baba be with Friday vibes. You find you can watch you know. Chemeka nyame, you wala don. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.